everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, caves offshooting from Edict underground. Traveling across the frozen tundra, they found a small facility seemingly under the control of the Scar Concord. However, after fighting their way through a zombified pumpkin patch led by a horrible Ichor demon scarecrow, the party has found that the base seems to be abandoned, home to a small population of Ichor beasts that have breached containment and taken the facility for themselves, wandering its halls in their ink-addled minds. Encountering a somewhat present and corporeal three-headed Ichor beast and managing to get some information out of them. The party progressed, and after some resolution of the conflict between some of the party members, the party has caught the attention of an Edict security automaton that seems to have been reprogrammed by Dr. Ampere Kaloum to work for the Concord for one reason or another.
Now we get to die.
And also, before we dive right in, I will say as a side note that a lot of us are using new computers or mics, so I apologize in advance for any technical issues. With that, as all of you hesitate and freeze as the machine lowers their gunning arm at Neon, who made the noise that drew its attention, they give the command that you're familiar with getting from these automatons, but hearing it in common in the unfamiliar to you, Neon, but familiar to the party voice of Kaloum is off-putting, to say the least, especially with Kaloum's emblem emblazoned on the front proudly. Gil, you feel small claws as Raccoon kind of scutters up your back to kind of put you between themselves and the machine, having seen firsthand what this machine can do, but your ability to metaphorically tank it. As all of you see, the machine, if it has noticed you, has not reacted to the rest of you yet, and is simply leveling its weapon at Neon and demanding identification and that they leave the premises. What would you all like to do?
I will step in front of Neon, and I will say, he's not intruding if he's with me.
Okay.
And I'm going
Roll
behind.
deception.
And one more time, Gil.
I'm going behind the Trabaton.
Okay.
Trabuton? What's a Trabuton?
Automaton. Gil, roll me a stealth check, and Lucien, if I understand correctly, you're trying to deceive this machine into thinking that you are, in fact, your brother, who, as far as you know, their credentials have been getting you through secure parts of the facility. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, Gil roll stealth, and Lucien roll deception. And Caleb, were you going to say something before Lucien spoke up, or are you good?
I'm good.
All right.
24.
Okay. Lucien?
22.
Okay. The machine just pauses and stares as you step into view and say this. Gil, as you sneak cautiously, the machine appears to not notice you. And Lucien, a moment passes, another, very tense, before the weapon lowers and the machine gives a salute. My apologies for not recognizing you sooner.
Oh.
Just kind of like, I give him a lazy look and just, well, get back to work.
Of course. Is there anything in the facility in particular that you'd like to check on?
Shit.
Didn't think this far.
This is Amanda talking now. Not. How does it go with the containments?
The containments had a few errors here and there, but overall, I think we've got things well under lock and key.
Very well. If I need anything else, I will come to you.
Of course.
Get back to work.
Of course. And the machine turns and continues making its repairs on the water tank, kind of just looking down at you, Gil, kind of tilting its head to the side curiously as it just reaches its arm over your head to start welding parts of the now that you're closer to it, you all can see that it seems to be a definitely empty sort of water cooler, similar to the ones you had seen in the Peacekeepers headquarters. But and
I want to get out of the way then.
Yep, and seemingly stained with ichor, both inside and out. So, as the machine appears to divert its attention away from all of you, what would you all like to do?
I will turn around to Neon and just kind of like usher him away and just kind of like whisper him, you know, I wasn't really sure if that was going to work.
Don't say that too loud now.
No,
Yeah,
she says it in his ear.
Yeah, I'm assuming stage whisper, don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, I'm glad you did it.
I like you well enough.
Well, shucks.
You kind of get
Almost
the
make-
impression that that's as good as it's gonna get for right now.
Yeah.
It almost makes me feel bad for all the horrible thoughts I've had about you all.
She ignores this and goes to the door.
Alright.
Should I ask it to open the door?
Well, I mean, we did already break security.
Yeah,
thing.
Zephyr has already broken down the primary security protocol, which just leaves the biometric scanner, which you guys have already found a seemingly reliable way of getting through those. Although you can try if you like.
No, let's try the skeleton hand.
All right.
I
Gil?
will use a skeleton hand.
All right. Gil, you place the skeletal hand onto the scanner. Sure enough, the usual slight error to it occurs, but seems to finish scanning regardless. And there's a slight sparking from the key card slot that Zephyr had thoroughly obliterated internally, and slowly the door begins to crank, going upwards this time. And as it does, all of you kind of instinctively step back as you see an ichor beast on the floor. One of these more simple and less distinctive ones that you had seen whenever a person is attacked by an ichor beast and becomes one of them. You see one of these bodies on the floor at the entrance of the door, bisected, only the waist up still present as it lay motionless on the floor, the legs nowhere to be seen. But as you all kind of
Could I take a look at it?
Sure, what are you looking for?
Patience. I just kind of want to identify what species this person may have been.
Make a medicine check at disadvantage.
12?
It's hard to tell. The ichor is, are you willing to touch it?
Yes.
As you bend down to, initially you turn the head to check the ears, as most of the workers here, of course, were elvish, given that they lived in Edict. But as you turn its head, its whole head is completely encased in ichor and makes it hard to tell. And as you kind of like tug a bit at where the ears would be, you see that the ichor has already become that like sort of semi-solid, crunchy, sort of clay-like texture that it takes on when an ichor beast dies, and it begins to flake under your fingers as you touch it, and you can see the pieces doing that same sort of constant warping and teleporting, like they're having difficulty staying tethered to the material plane. But you do see long, what appear to be almost antennae, laying on the floor from its head, although they're so long and wavy that you can't really associate it with any species you know of. But you do step back a bit again as the room begins to fill with this cheerful, peppy music. And looking past the body, you all see a chamber ahead of you. Again, very akin to the one that acts as the entryway to Edict, but much smaller. And you see a few supplies on the right side of the room, just kind of scattered and left. A few, like, what appear to be repurposed oil drums, acting as just barrels to hold things in. And on the left, you see a massive set of very thick-looking doors, again, very similar to the ones that act in Edict's entryway, wide open, with icy, snowy fields stretching before you. It does not appear to be actively snowing, but there is just a layer of frost and snow on everything you see. And you can hear the music coming from it, although from this doorway you can't see the ichor beast that Caleb had described to all of you, and Caleb, that you yourself saw. And ahead of you, you see a door with another key card slot and biometric scanner.
Quick question.
Of course.
With the big doors that are wide open, they're frozen, correct?
Well, yeah. Given that the doors leading to this area were pretty heavily frozen, you can gather. Although, I'm gonna make a perception check at disadvantage, since you're not really familiar with how the mechanics of these work.
$19.
Okay. Looking towards the ceiling, you do see a layer of frost. It's a lot thinner in this area, as it's harder for the frost to take hold on this sort of unforgiving stone and metal. But you do see a thin layer, and while you can't see the mechanics of the door, you can safely assume, given that they're at ground zero, or so it seems, it is very likely that they are frozen. And on either side of the door, left and right, you see a key card slot and a set of biometric scanners.
Well, I want to sneak to the door, and I want to start defrosting the parts that I'm fairly sure we're going to need operational.
Okay. Make me a stealth check at disadvantage, because you're going to be waving a flaming sword and melting the ice.
And then I'll look at Zephyr and kind of gesture to the key card.
once again, 19.
Okay. And Zephyr and Lucian?
No funny ideas from you.
And turn around and shoot the robot now.
Yeah, after all that build-up.
I thought you were going to say you shoot Gil.
No. I'm saying the robot. Fight the robot. He just sort of just gives a shrug and I'm assuming this keypad's also gonna be very high in the air. That the small boy.
Yes, the key cards are meant to be used at a sort of chest to stomach level for regular sized humanoids. So yes, you can really, especially if you're planning to break them again, you cannot reach them without assistance.
As I've told you before, Zephyr, I will not touch you without your permission.
I guess first off, I should probably just look around. So they're not exactly trying to hide anything. Look for like a box or something to stand on.
Easy enough to do. Looking, like I said, looking to your right, you see several barrels and boxes that have been sort of left there. It appears that this area is almost like a repurposed garage that was sort of retrofitted to act as the sort of gateway between this very official and high security area and the rest of the facility. Real quick, before you two do anything else, Neon, Kero, and Caleb, what are the three of you doing?
I was just going to go up to him and just scoop him up on my shoulders. Put on a trench coat, maybe. We look like a normal person now.
So do you actually want to give Zephyr
Kinda,
a boost?
yeah.
Alright,
Kinda, yeah.
Zephyr, do you contest?
Do I contest?
Zephyr?
Yeah.
Hearing a yes.
You mean not
Alright, we'll
hearing
come
a
back.
no?
Kero and Caleb, what are the two of you doing?
Caleb is just kind of waiting to see what the others are doing. Like, he's just kind of following them for now.
Okay. And Kero, what are you doing?
Are we still near the robot? By the way?
Yes, the robot is literally like 10 feet behind you.
I was looking at it as we go.
As you kind of stare at it, it kind of tilts its head and swivels to look at you. Is there something I can help you with?
She just kind of waves.
The machine gives the same familiar wave that that the previous one gave the elves before returning to its work. Be sure to let me know if you wish to be taken on a tour of the facility as per the norm.
I mean,
Okay.
a bad idea.
Wait, no, actually, that's a really good idea.
Actually, yeah.
Everyone's like,
Real quick, Austin, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello?
You're muted if you're talking.
Oh. Not sure why. Not sure why Discord muted, put me on mute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, there you are. Sorry, bud. Yeah, so Zephyr, do you contest Neon trying to lift you for starters?
He's just, how are you, out of curiosity, how are you presenting this? You're just picking me up?
Yeah, you know how you pick up a child and put him on your shoulders? It's like that, except we're both really short, so now we can feel the height of roughly a normal human person.
Roughly, I think you're like, what, 3 feet?
I think so. Here, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure I'm like
Yeah, so
3 feet.
between the two of you, you'd be about 5 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm 3'7" exactly.
So we're with both of us combined, we'll be about
An average height
Ours
person.
combined.
5'8", 5 foot.
So do you allow
You'll
Neon
be
to do this?
Taller than Lucian.
You know what? He kind of
No
just
way, we'll be unstoppable.
he sighs. He kind of just gives a sigh. Just I don't really see the point, but whatever. What gets the job done? He'll just stand on stand on the
Before
box.
you get on with the picking the lock, do you think that we should ask the robot if we can take the tour?
Have the robot take the first hits. So
He makes a good
I
point.
mean, I think that would be probably I feel like that would be a really good idea. I think.
For all we know, he'll unlock the door for us.
well,
That's what I'm thinking, actually.
I'm
But we're
still
trying to
holding him.
shut the door.
You're still
As you all
Why
are
is
having
he holding him again?
because Zephyr needs to break the key cards if you guys want to shut this door, and Zephyr can't reach it on his own. So,
yeah, the downside.
Last
So
time-
powers
small.
combined.
yeah, as you all
I
are
do a
having this,
fusion dance.
yeah, as you all are having this discussion, the music changes. And Gil, as you're melting away at some of the frost, taking the sort of side walls and mechanics of this massive door, you start to hear a in the snow getting closer to you.
Uh-oh.
Something like a retro vibe sort of thing.
What do you mean?
You mean like a is it still music though?
Yeah, no, but the music has become really like slow and distorted, which you've heard it seems to do it just kind of periodically. But as it takes on that tone, you hear crunching in the snow getting closer to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to hide again. I'm going to stop melting and hide.
Okay. Make me another stealth check. This again at disadvantage since you have already kind of given your position away.
So, Lucien, you seem to have at least understanding of the robot. Tell it to do whatever you need to do.
17.
Okay. Lucien, you hear the footsteps behind, and as all of you turn, Gil, you kind of hiding among the supplies at the opposite side of the garage. All of you look back to see the machine now standing behind all of you. Did I hear that all of you were interested in the tour?
That's right. We want to
Yes,
learn
that
everything.
would do really. Yes,
Yeah, sounds
Yes.
like a good
that
idea.
would be great.
Sounds like fun.
Of course. Well, I'd be happy to help. And he kind of waves the weapon arm, kind of gesturing for all of you to part so that he can step through the door.
You blast through the door, or weld it maybe. All right. Well, I can't. I mean, I'm not the legs, so I can't move. So.
So, yeah, as all of you kind of separate a bit so that this machine...
Not the legs.
Yeah, not the legs.
What?
Yeah, Zephyr's not the legs, like Neon has to do the walking right now.
Yeah.
All of you kind of part, and the machine kind of has to like brace its elbows against its side to be able to fit through the door, but it's able to do it without breaking anything. And as it steps into the garage, it kind of turns and gives you a small wave, Gil, and turns as now all the rest of you can hear over the distorted like a music player that's like underwater and like struggling. And Caleb, you see the same horrible conjoined silhouette start to kind of rock into view. All of you see this this dual-bodied Ichor beast, conjoined at the hip and hands, clutching a double-bladed scythe that it's rocking back and forth on to provide locomotion to itself. And you see the sad, like the kind of frowning and sobbing face is currently facing forward, with its eyes firmly locked on Gil and slowly swinging, edging its way into the garage towards Gil. But as the machine steps into the garage, the beast turns to look at it, and the machine to the beast. There's a tense pause. Subject Delta, what are you doing out of your containment cell? All right, back with you. Come on. And
pulls out a chair.
And
Bendy and the ink machine shit right here.
and the music starts to change again. And the beast swivels completely around in this flash of movement, and now the smiling, happy face is facing forward, and it gives a smile and and starts to, instead of rocking, it actually spins, using the frost and snow beneath the scythe to gather momentum as the scythe begins to form this horrible, accursed carousel as its hand drags against the frost and snow below it, as it continues, as it starts to spin further into the containment cell, with the machine gesturing with these sort of movements you would use to shoo a fly, as it begins to...
Okay, I like this. I like this.
So
Oh,
the Ichor beast just pirouetting away.
basically, yeah. And the machine kind of shakes its hand, and swirls back around at Gil as you kind of cautiously step out from the supplies you were camouflaging yourself with, and gives you all a nod. My apologies for that. As I said, we've had a few nicks to our containment system, but rest assured everything is completely under control. And he gives a wave with his weapon arm. If you all follow me, I'd be happy to show you the rest of the facility.
I'm gonna be frank, that was one of the
We
most
done?
bizarre things I've ever seen.
Yeah, lead away.
The machine gives you a nod, Zephyr, but turns to you, Neon. Is it? How so?
It danced into the room, gave us a death glare, and then danced out of the room. That's a little weird.
The machine gives a nod and starts to approach the door opposite of the ones you guys had entered through, and its finger actually curls back to reveal a small, almost like Neon, you recognize it as a computer chip, almost on a like small metal pole that it inserts into the key card slot of the opposite door, and places its metallic hand on the scanner as the chip retracts. And as the scan does its normal business, interestingly, not having the usual error it's been having up to this point, the machine gives a nod. Yes, Ichor beasts' minds tend to be rather unpredictable, but once you learn how to handle them, it's easy peasy. Although Subject Delta, as you well know, has always been rather unpredictable. I mean, unpredictable even by Ichor beast standards. The door gradually begins to hiss open, clearly again struggling. In Neon, you can actually hear several internal heaters having to be activated just so the gears can actually get into motion, as the machine continues. But rest assured, our other projects are much more ambitious, as you well know, and I'm sure you're interested in updates.
Right, I'm very
Updates would
interested.
be-
Why don't you?
Delta seems to have a case of bipolar.
The machine kind of perks up and swirls its head around to look at you. Actually, a rather interesting distinction, as bipolar is not is not responsible for the image it's most famously associated with. This is simply a odd side effect of the research. But again, I'm sure this is all things you perfectly well know, and gives you a nod. Rest assured, all of our papers are in order. There's no need for tests of our knowledge. And as the door finally cranks to a full opening, the machine hunches into itself to step through and gives a gesture for all of you to enter, should you so wish.
I'm gonna go ahead and enter. Carrying Zephyr still.
Just
I'm committed
like,
to the bit.
"Ee,
I'm
ee,
still walking
ee."
like how like
This is
Lucifer
their
would walk.
fusion dance.
We just,
Yeah.
They're going to become
we just need a very long coat.
Zephon.
We just need
Yeah,
a very
exactly.
long coat.
That's what we're gonna do next time we get into town. Is we're gonna buy a trench coat so we can get into party.
You must be this tall to ride this ride.
Yeah, we can ride all the roller coasters.
And you can go to see R-rated movies.
Maybe Zephyr will make a friend here. He'll finally make a friend.
I mean, hey, he let Neon pick him up.
Yeah, we're practically best bros already.
All right, so
Imagine having to duck because of low ceilings. This was a post made by the Short Creatures gang.
all right, so as you guys enter into the next room, real quick, Lucine, what were you gonna say?
I said I'm walking kind of like how because like I've spent my whole life with him, like how I know Lucifer walks.
Try to act like him.
Just kind of strutting my stuff.
All right, so Lucian adopting a much
There's
more
going to bite us in the butt eventually.
taking on a much more poised and confident walking. The machine enters into the next room. You all find yourself in a very large, initially the hallway itself is actually rather spacious compared to the ones you've been in, but curves around with a small wall blocking your way initially into what almost gives you vibes, Neon, it's very akin to a hospital waiting room. Just this big kind of rectangular open area with, you can see a few chairs and plants and things scattered
Do they have
about.
terrible magazines?
You can make a perception check if you want.
Yeah, what's in the tabloids today?
Okay, here you go. Perception, I get +4 to perception. Come on, perception. It's gonna be a dirty, nasty 20. Such a dirty little 20.
Looking around, you don't see any magazines or rather, you don't see any side tables that a magazine would be put on. But as you're kind of searching around, the machine kind of quirks its head to you. Are you looking for something?
No, just looking around a bit. Always got to be aware of your surroundings.
Of course. And elsewhere in the room, you can see somewhat in the center, although a bit out of the walkway. Like, basically, if you were to just simply be walking through this area, you would just pass right by it without having to step over it, but it is otherwise rather central to the room. You see a small metallic set of interlocking metal doors. Rather than having a very simple flat rectangular design, these ones have that sort of fanged interlocking design, like a pair of hands with their fingers intertwined. And looking to all of your lefts, you see a large open hallway coated in ichor and frost. Windows on either side, both frozen over. Otherwise, though, rather large and spacious. Almost giving you the vibe of, like, just essentially a simple viewing area, especially as Lucian, with your keen mind, you would know that you're actually pretty much direct across from that starting area where all the security cameras were. If you were to go through this hallway, you would likely end up in the same place. And ahead of you, the room divots to the left, and you can see another door, 2 doors, one on the immediate left, and one directly ahead.
2 doors, 1 knob.
So yeah, you see the trap door, bunch of chairs and such, big hallway similar to the one you would walk through to get here, which Lucian knows is like at least seemingly connected to the starting area. Windows on either side frozen, and 2 doors on the opposite side of you in the room, one to the left, one directly ahead.
Are there any indications what those rooms might be? Like, are there any signs?
Above the one on the left, this room, while it does have ichor stains, actually noticeably has less. So you're actually able to read the signs with fairly minimal issue. Those of you who can read Elvish, the door on the left ahead of you simply says supplies, and the door directly ahead going forward says Western Research Wing.
I think me and my friends would be interested in going to the research wing.
Of course. And please let me know if you want to make any pit stops along the way. And the machine steps ahead of all of you to open the frontmost door. Again, getting through the security protocols without issue. And is everyone good in this room and willing to follow?
Sure.
I'm willing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Caro, you've been quiet. What are you doing?
Following everyone and like looking around.
Okay.
At everything around us. It's like,
All right. As the door opens, the machine enters ahead of all of you, but all of you follow behind in tow. And you see immediately ahead of you this large, almost spider web of ichor blocking the way forward. Although you can see through it slightly to see that this hallway simply turns to the left and goes somewhere that you can't see. But as the machine is ahead of his hand, do excuse the mess, just one moment, please. And Gil, you kind of almost instinctively have a flashback as it plants its arm into the ground behind it, entering a sort of tripodal state, and the rotary cannon on its back comes to bear and begins blasting away at the ichor webbing. Pieces of it just go flying, and bullets ricochet off of the opposite wall behind it. And it simply fires, forming almost a sort of lawnmower pattern from the top to the bottom, until this ichor webbing is reduced to just inky splatters across the entire hallway. And as the cannon finally powers down, it stands back up and swivels around to look at all of you. Shall we?
Do you ever run out of ammunition?
The machine kind of gives a nod. Occasionally, but I'm always sure to restock when I feel like I'm running low.
And how much can you carry?
The machine raises the shotgun arm. I'm afraid that's classified information. Troops of Tradu's secret and all that. And gives you a nod. But rest assured, it is more than enough to deal with any threats to the troops of Tradu's security.
Of course.
We noted.
I have an idea.
Carry on.
Oh,
Yes, Neon.
ideas, yeah.
I want to try and deceive the robot.
Okay.
I want to. I'm trying to like think out exactly how I want to word this, but God damn it, it's so hard to not go into Cockney.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Robot.
Made him Cockney.
Well, most of my characters are Cockney at this point, so I tried to do something different. It's hard, but
Yeah, you're doing fine. Don't worry.
That's fine.
Do you know why we're here?
Well, you said it yourself. You're all here to conduct a routine inspection on our facility and ensure that everything is progressing as you wish.
Totally why we're here.
The reason I ask is because I have a specialized position here. I'm here to assess how well the artificial intelligence is working around here, and that includes you. So if you'd permit it, I'd like to ask you a few questions to make sure you aren't missing anything.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, persuasion. Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Because while you are lying to it, you're using that lie to ask it to do something. So I'm calling this persuasion.
Okay, it wouldn't have changed anything either. Or anyway, 19. Wow, a lot of 19s today. I think we have 19s a lot.
I had a dirty, filthy, little dirty 20.
That's true.
The machine taps the bottom of its sort of diving helmet structure. Well, I suppose that's fair. And the machine kind of slowly doesn't like sit, but sort of enters a sort of crouched position where it's the bottom of its chassis and its legs are just interlocked, almost forming a sort of cute little cube on the floor as it is now able to, still looking down at you, but like able to like look at you more closely. Please proceed.
This facility, what's its purpose?
The machine pauses, but you're used to the sort of like small delays, especially as you can tell just by a glance, Neon, you're a mechanic at heart. This machine, it's been down here about as long as the Ichor Beasts have. It has stains on it from the Ichor Beasts themselves and anything else it's encountered. It's like clearly been repairing itself primarily and has not seen any like outside intervention in a very long time. But after a delay, it does respond. While initially the facility was constructed as simply one of many research bases to study the formation and development of Ichor Beasts, Mr. Smithers became rather ambitious and decided to make this facility specialize in the combining of multiple Ichor Beasts into one.
Real quick, do we know who Mr. Smithers is? Again, I have a poor memory, but
Smithers Coal Company. He's one of the elves that went missing.
Okay, yeah. That's right. Okay, I remember now. Thank you. Where is Mr. Smithers?
Rather recently, some urgent business came up, and he ordered the remaining staff to evacuate. Left me here to guard and make sure the subjects did not escape containment.
What urgent business?
The machine for a moment, and finally speaks up. Some of Smithers' enemies have found their way into the city, and Smithers wanted to ensure that their research was not stolen or destroyed, and immediately made haste to leave the city and head for the nearest troops of Tradu settlement underground.
What's 2 + 2?
4.
Very good. If you'll permit me a moment to consult with my colleagues.
Of course. If you wish, I can go on ahead and make sure that the enrichment area is still secure. I would hate for any more delays and unnecessary displays of force. I'm rather embarrassed about that, you understand?
If you could wait here for a moment, I'm not finished with you.
Of course. And they can't exactly steeple their fingers, but they kind of rest their hand on their weapon and just stare at you as you turn to the rest of the group.
And this is whispered.
Yeah,
So
stage
what information do you think we should try to get from it? You're the experts here.
To know personally how long it's been since anybody's been here. When did they evacuate exactly?
All right, I'd like to ask it that.
So you turn and present your question, and the machine pauses, sort of like it's running numbers in its head before giving a nod. The last time that anyone checked in with me to give me an update as to the all clear was 10 years ago.
Very good. And back to the group.
Curious.
Hmm?
Am I still on your... Am I still on you?
You guys never said that you got down.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I'm committed to this bit. You absolutely are.
This whole time, just like he just sees like two people, or just sees a kobold standing on top of a fox. Like, I am your superior.
Yeah. Absolutely, that is absolutely what's happening. Any other ideas?
Who was the last person to check in with?
Well, once again, ask him. I asked a robot.
The machine kind of taps the underside of its helmet again, almost like it's actually not 100% sure on this one, before finally it says, the local engineer and programmer that the coal company hired usually ran my diagnostics, but the last person I saw in general was Mr. Ludo Gamboul, usually the first one to enter and last one to leave the facility on any given workday.
Anything else? To the group.
Did we ask it before where Ludo was, or Amanda don't remember, but Lucian would.
I don't think we did. No.
Nope. We're asking questions now.
Could we ask? Okay, so Lucian will turn to Neon. Ask it, where is Ludo located?
Well, I pass on the question.
Mr. Gamboul, last I was informed, was unfortunately selected as the next research specimen. Their ichor was used to create Subject Epsilon, I believe.
All right. You're doing well so far. What weakness, if any, do these beasts have?
The machine tilts its head to the side and says, well, I'm not exactly a specialist in combating them. If I had to draw a logical conclusion, all of the ichor beasts here were experiments seeing the compatibility of multiple ichor beasts formed into one. So perhaps a possible weakness would be to get the multiple competing souls and bodies to fight one another. For instance, Subject Delta's unpredictable moods can be used to your advantage in combat. We found that it tends to enter periods of low activity and then periods of high activity. So that could be used to your advantage. You would have periods in a fight where it does not attack you and simply sits still, allowing you to either, if you'll permit me the term, wail on it, or take the time to recoup and recover until it attacks once again.
So it attacks in bursts. Okay. Interesting. Anything else we should ask it?
How about if they've maybe come up with like a reversal process?
I also have a question.
All right. Here, let's deal with the. Is there a reversal first, and then we'll get to yours. So, I ask it: is there a reversal? A way to reverse the effects?
Not without the lady's will.
And who is the lady?
One more time, Neon.
Where is the lady?
The machine is quiet for a very long moment before shaking their head. Unfortunately, that is unknown to me. The lady tends to keep their location secret from all except their closest inner administrators.
But who is it?
That I'm sadly also unaware of. As I said, need to know basis, as Smithers always said.
I'd expect nothing less. Oh, everything is green so far. Just a few more.
Of course.
Really committed to this bit, and it's going to be really funny if it turns out later that he's just playing us. Just like, yeah, I was trying not to laugh the whole time. Yeah, so what was who was it that also had a question? I forget.
Yeah,
Lucian, yes.
I fucking forgot what I was gonna ask. I'm so sorry.
Shit.
Like I had it in my mind, and then it just went. It just like escaped my mind. Hang on, it will come back to me.
You mentioned it right after Gil mentioned who is the mother.
Or the lady.
Or the lady.
The lady, yeah, whatever.
And if there was a way to reverse the transformation.
Yeah. Oh.
How about the formula?
Maybe we could just. Huh?
Do they know where the formula?
That's what I was gonna ask. Well, something similar.
Yeah. Lucian, you kind of give Zephyr a smile as Zephyr kind of gives you a hint to remember what you're going to ask Neon.
Give me the hint.
Well, specifically, I was going to ask if there was any research left.
Well, I pass on the question to the robot.
Unfortunately, Mr. Smithers and the remaining staff members took the bulk of our information with them, although perhaps there are some left in the laboratory, which I'm afraid is currently under quarantine to contain the escaping Ichabis as best as we can.
Is there a way to destroy the facility?
The machine gives a nod. Of course. It would be rather difficult, as it requires a rather in-depth series of protocols being activated at once, and would definitely require the input of someone very technically savvy. But
well.
That's what I'm thinking.
In the eastern and western wings of the laboratory, as well as in the enrichment center, there are a series of towers that normally are used to keep us in communications with other outside members of the Concord. In the event that we felt the facility was compromised, the towers can be engineered. The machine kind of gives a slight tilt of the head at that. To give enough feedback to overpower the generators, causing interruption.
All this techno-babble.
Yeah.
How long does it take to detonate? Does it take a few minutes? Can you set the timer?
The machine kind of tilts its head slightly to the side. To be honest, I'm not sure. Obviously, as this facility still stands, the protocols never needed to be activated before. This is simply a theoretical failsafe that Smithers insisted we install, and the engineers here are frankly not quite certain it'll work.
Could I make? I would like to make an insight check to just make sure that we're not being fed bullshit this whole time.
Go for it.
All right. Good. I'm really. Oh wow. Okay, nat 20.
Neon.
Yes.
You hadn't picked up on it initially, but
oh no.
you've noticed a few very slight quirks as the machine speaks. The fact that this machine speaks common in general, you had simply dismissed it as likely reprogramming, but now you're starting to notice very, very slight discrepancies as it talks. A few things that like are slightly modified and adjusted, and combining that with the pauses, you almost get the impression that this is not the responses of an AI and simply age-old processors having to decide what to say. It's almost like the hesitation is either simply human, the time it takes for a human to decide on a response, or some kind of lag, as if it's taking a while for the responses to get to and back. And you also know that while in theory, though, the self-destruction method it posits is theoretically possible, it doesn't strike you as very likely, especially as you know that this facility was meant to be as clandestine as possible, given that even the brokers had no sure knowledge of its existence. You know for a fact troops of Threadloo hacker would have found it if it was giving off signals like that.
So there's a high likelihood that it could have just been bullshitting us that whole time.
Well, maybe you
In
could
which
call
case,
it on it.
where is it leading us?
You claim you were testing it.
Yeah, I know. That's what, so we at least maybe have that, assuming that, I mean, I don't know. I guess I rolled a 19 on that persuasion, but
Are you gonna tell the group?
Yeah, I'd like to pass this information along that either this robot is being controlled by somebody or it's being controlled from somewhere by something else.
Dr. Kloom, is that you?
You say this out loud?
Yes.
It sounds like he's talking to the robot.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Gil.
The machine kind of tilts its head to you, Gil, and says, "No, I'm simply a simple security droid here to give you the tour as requested."
So Neon tells us about the
Yeah, Neon did pass it on, but then Gil piped up like immediately. Although Caleb, you can respond real quick if you want.
Caleb was gonna say to Neon, you claimed you were testing it. Maybe you should call it out on the mistakes.
That's just what I was thinking.
Maybe it's testing you as much as you're testing it.
That's just what I was thinking. So throughout our discussion, I've noticed that you've been hesitating whenever you go to respond to me. A normal droid won't do that. What's the deal? Can you explain this?
Understand. It's been over a decade since I was last undergoing maintenance. A lot of my repairs are self-done. My processors are not what they used to be.
Cut the crap. Tell me the truth.
The machine looks to you, looks to Gil, looks to Caleb, slowly overlooking the whole group, before stepping back and giving a slight shrug. Well, let it not be said I didn't try.
Yep. Here we go.
Yeah.
I want to pull my gun on it.
And I'll pull my crossbow on as on top of him. So double gun him.
Another gun.
Matthew,
what's up?
Could Neon move their maximum speed and then have Zephyr hop off and then he can move his speed and still take an action?
Neon would have to make a strength check to be able to carry Zephyr and like go at a dead sprint, but if they manage to make that check, I would allow it.
No, Can I just put him down for this? Like,
He's like,
all
all right, get off
Yeah,
me.
you looked at your strength stat, didn't you?
Oh no, it was more just like it was a bit, but now this is getting serious. But yes,
With
if
him
memory
being
serves,
kind of
my
a bigger
Yeah,
target.
okay.
With
Uh,
him being
yeah,
a
strength
bigger
is my
target
lowest
because of
stat. Mm-hmm.
So
They'd also,
we personally met
Carol?
Kaloom, right?
Yeah, everyone except Neon has met Kaloom, but Neon, you are familiar with the emblem you're looking at, and now that they're dropping the act, you can easily put together that this must be the Kaloom you'd heard about.
Or at least.
I
Long
don't
time
understand. How is he doing that?
The miracles of technology, Caro.
Whoa. And knocks on the robot a bit.
You all kind of look in horror as Caro goes to just casually approach the machine, but surprisingly, no reaction. Caro just knocks against the metal. Dung, dung, dung. I'm afraid it's not going to be that easy, Miss Caro. I'm completely across the blackened sea at the moment, but after I had gotten some input on a security breach, I figured it was only fair that I keep an eye on things.
If it is really you, then why would you give us all of the answers that you have given us?
You have no way of proving if the information I gave you is correct, and even if it was, what good does it do you? These Ickabees are over a decade old. We've refined our formula since Smithers' contributions, and he puts them in quotes.
what exactly was your plan here? Try to trap us in with one of the monsters.
Well, my
I
initial
think
plan
he
was
was
to...
planning on.
Or do it yourself with the robot.
What are you going to take us to the laboratory?
Indeed, and I was going to reactivate the quarantine once you were inside, leaving you trapped down there with all of the most powerful specimens Smithers created, and if they failed to kill you, I would do it myself.
We've destroyed one of these robots before, right?
I would like to go to the robot and I want to look at it in its dumb face.
It's dumb face.
And
Stupid face.
I'm going to look at it very, very darkly, and I'm going to say, I'm going to kill you.
You're going to try. I'm smarter than you, Lucian. And the machine tilts its head to the side to look at you, Caleb, over her shoulder. And to answer your question, young one, that's the reason I'm not attacking you now. The jig is up, and I don't stand a chance against all of you in a fair fight, especially with a machine as damaged as this one. And he kind of bangs against the metallic chest plate. But a weakened group, some of you perhaps already dead or dying, that would be a different story. But, unfortunately, c'est la vie, as they say.
At this point, Gale would like to cut off its head.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna let you one-shot it.
Well, I mean, who knows?
You're gonna have to
Alright.
actually fight it.
Yes, there is. Who knows?
Gil,
see.
make an attack roll. I'll give you
You
advantage because
idiot.
he's not fighting back.
Oh, Gil's a dumbass.
Can I guidance while he rolls? I want to be guidance.
I don't think you guidance that.
Yeah, well, actually, can you? I think you can guidance attack rolls.
Yeah, you can you can totally do it.
I don't know if that's it.
I
Out of
this thing had a
curiosity.
decent amount of health. Even lower, like a damage / quote unquote lower level version would probably still be quite tough to kill.
Yeah, it says ability check.
Oh, well, so for flavor, I'll allow it, but yeah, Lucy, for future reference, you cannot. Thank you for pointing that out, Austin.
I'll tell you that.
Okay.
No, yeah, that was on us. No worries. Lucian, you say a prayer and press your hand to Gil's arm as you can hear him running up behind you. As Gil, you cleave with your blade. The metallic head lops off of the machine's shoulders, and it falls to its knees. and gently places a metallic hand on your chest, Gil, as you can see some slight sparking from the head as the red glow begins to fade, although leaving the Kaloum emblem still emblazoned on the front. Your father and I will see you soon, Gil. And with that, the machine topples over, powered down and immobile.
Well, that was not the best.
I think that we need to leave immediately.
There's going to
Leave? For what?
No, like Gil said, I think they're coming.
What
They
did
know
you
we're
say?
here. We have to tell them, like now. You know what? I am going to send a message to the commissioner.
All right. What would you like to say?
We did a favor for brokers and ended up in the old mines. Danger is coming. Okay.
Is that all you say?
Invasion is coming. Yes.
All right.
I look to the
There's-
others. Should I
How do you
send
know
another
that for
message?
certain?
You gotta wait for a reply?
Caleb was. Because you seem to think something's gonna come, but Caleb.
trust me, it's
How do you
coming.
know that for certain? Because they obviously abandoned this place. They seem to no longer have an interest in this facility.
Yeah, but now that they know that they know that we are here.
That's also implying that they actually care about us.
And also,
Well,
that
I
they
mean, it's obvious that they do.
And what's so obvious about it?
Didn't he just say that they would see us soon? And also, they literally went out of their way to kidnap us?
But how do we know that they would attack the city? It's much easier for them to just wait for us to leave eventually. We can't stay down here forever. And they know that. Why risk a fight that may go badly when
Actually,
you
they
can
could.
just ambush your target?
Actually, we could stay for a little bit. I've been meaning to pick up
But
some
we'd have
things
to leave
anyways.
eventually. And I don't think their plan is necessarily that urgent that they can't wait. We don't know for certain that they will attack. You may
I've
just be
already
whipping
sent
them up into a fury for no reason. We don't know
Well,
enough
better
to assessment
be
of what
on the
they're going to
guard.
do.
Either way. What is our...
Well, better to be on the guard than to be caught in
There's a difference
surprise.
between being on the guard and telling them one thing for certain when you're not certain. Could have just told them to be on guard for
Okay,
anything.
then do you think that I should resend a message and tell them that we think that there is going to be an attack on the city?
Might be more accurate.
Well, I feel like at this
Okay.
point, it's gonna not sound very good, but, you know.
It's too late now. You've already
So what
sent
do you
the
think,
message.
Zephyr?
But
Yes, but I can send another one very easily.
Yeah, but
I
that
get
might
that.
be a bit fishy, like Zephyr said.
Either way.
If we
You can-
suddenly came back downgrading what we said.
Well, either way. I
So,
think...
Matthew, what did the brokers exactly ask us to do? Did they
Figure
tell us
out
to stop the
why.
code, or just figure out
Investigate
why?
what was creating
Yeah.
the ice.
Yeah, they figured out
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
it's
and then
causing-
basically anything you
They
find,
just wanted to
everything
know
you
the
find
why.
is yours. They didn't necessarily ask you to stop it. Like they want to know what is creating the cold so that they can add that to their information base and in exchange answer your questions.
I mean, with the information that we have, can I assume that we have the correct information?
Wait, what? You ever told us? Like, what information do we have? What?
Yeah, I don't think we've actually figured out
Yeah,
why
we-
the place
never-
is all cold.
Never figured it out.
Oh, I guess in that case we need to
This
go backwards.
facility.
Nope.
We do know this facility is the source. Well, Matthew's busy typing away right now, so.
Wow.
Sorry, Neon was asking a few questions over text, so.
Didn't you say that the cold was coming from this area?
It seemed like it was, yeah.
Well, essentially we were in the center, the eye of the storm. But I'm pretty sure the facility won't be good enough for the brokers to be
Well,
something.
we don't need
this-
to worry
this-
about destroying this place or stopping it.
Be like,
Well, that being the case, I think that we need to go back to where the snow was.
we're in the center of it already.
Lagging out so much.
No, I mean, because wasn't there an area where like there was like a snowy area?
The whole cavern is
Yeah,
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much everywhere that isn't covered in metal or stone has snow on it.
So
or ice in the case of the lake or whatever it is.
Yeah, it seemed like it was an underground lake that just got frozen over in the cold. And Lucian, as you're debating with the rest of the party, you do get a response after some time. All right, I've done everything I can to prep the defenses. Some more details would be appreciated if you have them, but for the time being, the peacekeepers are on guard, and I'll make sure the generals are informed.
Oh,
I
we need to
look to
figure
the
out.
others. He wants more information.
what information do you have?
So either here's the thing though. Here's the thing. I can send another message. That's not an issue. The issue is I will not be able to revive anybody if somebody dies. So we need to make our decision if we're going to continue on without taking a break or taking a nap, because I'm going to be out of energy for the time being. So whether we want to continue on, that's fine, but I'm going to need some time to recuperate, or I can send another message and we could do something else. I don't know.
But I don't know if we have the time for a rest.
We know this facility has.
So to be honest,
We know this facility seems
want
to
to
be
take
where
the
it's
risk?
coming from. So we should try to figure out exactly what is creating the cold, like we were asked, and then we could just leave, and we don't have to worry about it.
Preferably.
do we want to take the risk? Because somebody could die, and I cannot bring them back if I send another message
Then don't
right
send
now.
the message. We'll go find the thing, get out of here, and then you can send the message.
Yeah, if that's what you think.
At least a plan.
Carol, you've been quiet. What are you up to?
My suggestion is to maybe avoid the
He's trying to get.
laboratory. Do you think so, Carol?
Yes, we've been distracted trying to figure out all of these. We need to keep our word to the brokers.
No?
Do we feel any cold here, or is it just stopped?
You feel there's kind of a perpetual chill throughout the whole facility, much less than there is outside, where it's not like, especially since you're not like in snow right now. So it's pretty cold, but if you want to make me a survival check.
Can Caleb help?
Yeah, make a survival check with advantage.
Gotta get my dice out.
Guidance.
All right, add a d4 to the result.
Wait, I get my other dice out.
Damn it! No, I gotta get the other dice too.
The other dice out. Oh. Wow, oh, God damn it.
Oh, wow.
I was thinking it too.
Whoops, that fell off.
You know what they say, the urge to sing the line "Sleeps Tonight" is only a whim away, a whim away, a whim away.
That was so dumb. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Can't
really
take
good.
Credit. Yeah.
All right, so Caro? Yeah, survival with advantage, add a d4 to the result, and try to keep track of both rolls so I can make sure to note what Caleb contributes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 17 plus 2, so 19.
All right, what's the other one?
The other one was 10.
Okay. With the group having surprisingly agreed to a plan,
Yeah.
Caro,
Good on us.
Caro and Caleb start to kind of feel out the surrounding environment a little bit. Caleb, you're familiar with the sort of wind testing method used by Tibadran sharpshooters and sort of imitate it in an effort to figure out where the wind is coming from. Caro, with your much more heat-sensitive body and natural tracking and wilderness survival skills, are able to slowly kind of survey the area, and both of you end up meeting in the middle below what appears to be a small grate in the wall above your heads towards the ceiling. Neon, as you see Caro and Caleb looking at it, you recognize this as an air vent.
It is coming from that.
Thought process.
I think. Caro is no better.
Yes, it is.
How big is this air vent?
It's pretty small. I'd say it's like a foot tall, maybe a foot and a half wide.
Oh, that's actually. Would I be able to, or actually, would any of the small?
Can you close it?
Huh?
Oh, wait, you said this is ceiling, right?
Yeah, it's up towards the ceiling, but not on it.
Okay, yeah, so it's on the wall, just high up.
Yeah.
Would any of the small squad be able to fit into the vent?
Squad.
Some of us are pretty small.
Yeah, about half
Small
my size.
stackables.
Yeah.
I mean, if they crawl, it'd be about like how wide they are.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Neon, by your best judgment, you and Zephyr possibly could, but it's basically you'd seriously risk getting stuck. Like move your arms that much.
Can my mucus help me get through?
I was gonna suggest since I have fur, I wouldn't get stuck. I'd slide a bit more.
Well, I more mean like essentially, yes, you can in theory fit, but like, you know, you're gonna be like dragging your way through, and like it's very possible, especially if it gets any narrower, deeper in, for it to become harder for you. And Caro, with your build, if you took your armor off, you think you could do it?
Okay, Caro
Naked
starts to
frog.
ungarb and he is really unhappy about it.
Well,
Naked frog.
I go, no, my eyes!
Yeah, you all watch as Caro begins to quite literally, not disrobe, but de-armor themselves. This process does take
Cover
time,
your
though.
eyes.
Yeah, removing armor does take a while, so especially if you're doing it in the field. So, does anyone have anything they want to do while Caro takes their armor off?
Where
Oh.
exactly are we? Where did Kalumbot lead us to?
You are still in that center room with the trap door in the middle and the big frozen hallway.
You really went very far.
That door, or the trap door that you're talking about. Does that lead to where I'm assuming the entrance was?
No. So, judge, going off of your keen mind, you estimate that the hallway at least goes the right way to get back to the entrance, but you don't know where the trap door leads.
You guys want? Why don't the Shorty Squad go ahead, and I guess I can sit here and take a rest.
Shorty squad.
So I assume there's like a grate over the vent that would have to
Yes.
get removed.
Yes, but Neon, Caleb, and Caro, the three of you do see that there are some screws, which imply that it could be either pulled loose or unscrewed.
Hey, lucky me.
Break it.
Or we could do that. That works too.
But
Yeah,
I
Julian's going to just grab the grate,
I have
yank.
You can't reach it.
I have Tinker's tools. I could just
Could he
like
jump and reach
unscrew
it?
it.
Gil, in theory, could try to jump and reach it, but then remember, this is a small vent. Getting your fingers, especially Gil's fingers, to get a good enough grip to pull it out is going to be hard. But
probably
kind of
painful.
What does the screw head look like?
it just looks like a relatively generic screw head, although you do see Neon
Yeah,
immediately
hey.
pulling tools from their Tinker's tools.
Oh, okay.
Relatively
I was
screw
gonna
head.
see if
There's
it was like the
flat-
right size that like the tip of a knife could get into it, but he's got it covered.
flathead, arrowhead.
Phillips head.
Yeah, Phillips head.
Ah. The weird fucking triangle ones that I hate.
Yeah.
Hexagon.
anyways.
I was gonna say, Neon, looking at them, you see that it's those kind of weird octagonal ones.
Oh god, I
The
hate
hex.
those even more.
The hex.
Neon just grumbles to themselves the whole time. Just pull out the screw. Stupid ass screws. Fucking.
Yeah. So, Gil, as you're like kind of debating the logistics of just jumping up and trying to yank it out with your bare hands, you see Neon has the tools but can't reach the grate on their own.
Can he pull out his mech in this space?
It is big enough if you want to do that.
I was gonna say if Caleb is standing, or wait, not Caleb, Gil. If Gil's standing right under the vent, I wanted to just scamper up his back.
I guess that's also possible.
Gil, do you
too.
allow this?
Scamper up the back while Wreck on his back. Just carrying the small
Scampers
squad.
on top of Gil and then on top of Raccoon.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, but first we need to see if Gil actually allows this. Gil appears to have disconnected. Both of them have actually.
R.I.P.
Yes, in there. Well, okay, so
Rona got them.
in the
Theory.
a theory.
Yeah, the towers.
But that's just a
We're having
theory.
technical
A
difficulties.
game
Yeah, I called that.
theory.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I'm not actually mad about it. I was more just saying, like, yeah, I figured. But yeah, so do you allow Neon to turn you into a jungle gym much like Raccoon does?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm gonna offer to pick Neon up so he can get to the vent.
I don't even bother to respond. I literally just climb up him as if he were a tree.
Okay.
And Gil, you kind of lift your hands up to be able to allow Neon a sort of platform to reach up to the vent. And with Neon on your hands, yes, Neon, you can reach it. You still have to kind of actually reach up a little wee bit, but you theoretically can. Although as you're scrambling up Gil's arm, so you're going past his shoulders, Raccoon just kind of scowls at you and just, get down, this is my spot.
Quiet. And I keep going.
Wow.
Be quiet.
Damn. Damn.
Gil, as you hold up the scampering kitsune, Neon, you reach into your tinker tools. This is easy, so I'm not going to make you roll for this. You unscrew the other, and gently pull the grate free, and you find yourself looking down a dark and soulless tunnel, and you can feel, like, you're used to the sort of like gentle breeze of an air conditioner. You're getting hit with a biting wind, and you can actually see frost gathering at the sides, just building
Kara's
up on the
not
metal.
gonna have fun.
I mean,
Nope.
the only one who's gonna have fun is the fox. Neon.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the fox can fit in there.
They can, but they do risk getting stuck. Pretty much the only one who can get through this without getting stuck is Kero, and even then, Kero had to take their armor off and rely on their mucus to do it.
Well,
Your
Ranger,
cuffs.
I hope you like the cold.
Also,
Don't, but no
Curi-
choice.
Curiosity, Neon, do you have dark vision?
I do, in fact. I have 60 feet of it.
Well, yeah, that's usually base, but it's just like if Neon goes on ahead in front of you, like, yeah, I can slide into it so easy. Where am I going?
Would be pretty funny.
Okay.
All right.
So we're having, as I said, technical issues. So Amanda wanted me to, because her computer's updating, she wanted me to say that Lucian is at this point leaning against the wall and meditating, trying to get a quick rest.
All right, so you're going for a short rest?
No, it'll be, she's trying
I'll
to,
rest as long as they're gone.
she's going to
Okay.
try to go for as long as we can.
Okay.
4 hours
Noted.
if you can.
All right. All right. So Neon, you pull the grate free.
Oh, hey.
So Kero, Neon, Zephyr. Does anyone? There is well, yeah. Caleb's not exactly on the short squad per se. He's kind of in that weird middle ground. But so are the three of you committed to going through the vents while the rest of the party waits here?
Well, before we go ahead, I wanted to examine the robot because I have a couple ideas.
But,
Sure. So you kind of scamper down, Gil, just kind of tossing the grate to the side, kind of
Just
brushing a few like snowflakes and icicles out of your face fur as you scamper down and approach the beheaded robot. And as you kind of look it over, yeah, you can kind of see what Kaloon was talking about. Like, it's already damaged, and you know that this party, without your assistance, fought another security droid and won. So you can kind of put together why Kaloon wasn't even going to try putting up a fight in this body.
Okay. So if memory serves, he used something that was on his fingy to unlock a door. He had like a chip on his
one more time?
fingy, something like that.
Yes.
the robot?
You know that yes, you know that Edict security droids have a attachment in their functional hand that can basically be a sort of Swiss Army knife, but cyberpunk. One of which is a hacking tool.
Cool. I want to remove that arm and have it.
Maybe a Tinker Tools check. I'll give you advantage since you're really intimately familiar with these droids.
Hell the fuck yes.
So apparently there's a droid army somewhere in this.
Yeah, there's a droid army. The droid attack on the Wookiees. That is advantage 18.
So as Caro is stripping their armor, everyone else is just readying for as much of a rest as they're going to be able to get. Those who aren't proceeding through the vents, Neon, you get to work. Those of you who are somewhat interested in the technology here, like Caro and Caleb, watching some interest as Neon just starts to basically like strip the arm off of this machine, doing it with this like really delicate touch, like almost like it. Neon has up for you guys up to this point been like friendly enough, but relatively like to the point and blunt. Neon's treatment of the machine is delicate, almost loving. And as the arm is pulled free, Neon, you set to work on detaching it at the wrist now. And it takes you some time, but by the time Caro's gotten their armor off, you're able to pull the hand free with all of its attachments removed. And Neon, you may now note that you have a set of hacking tools.
Awesome.
It's like some Cyberpunk 2077 shit.
Hell
And
yeah, dude.
It's just,
I will
you
say
know,
for
my
I will
shitty-
say for bonus points that you're able to do this in such a way to where you can basically slide the metallic glove. You basically removed all of the unnecessary components from the inside and are able to wear it as a glove to be able to activate the finger-based components of the device.
Oh, wicked.
I just
Oh, I'm
need to-
into it.
Basically, your mech's gauntlet on one arm and your hacking tools on the other.
Oh, I'm into it.
Yeah, you
I'm
just gotta-
digging this.
Just gotta put
Alright,
like
so-
ring holes on top of it and you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So you now have a set of hacking tools. They function similarly to Tinker's tools, but what they can be used for is to repair or retrieve information from various computer devices, and can also be used to possibly, if you're willing to chance it, try and take control or commandeer them, depending on the exact
Ooh.
device in question.
Pretty powerful.
I like it.
Yeah.
So with this device attached, and looking at it, yeah, if you kind of suck in a bit, you should be able to slime your way through. Neon, you have your hacking tools at the ready, and Zephyr, you're just ready for more cold.
Totally.
So, are the three of you prepared?
I guess
Just
first
about.
I will go to my brother and ask him, so what do you plan on doing?
I think, I'm almost certain I wouldn't be able to follow, so
What?
I'm going to just stay here and keep guard, I guess, of the people resting.
Hello?
Hello.
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 There we
Hello.
go. I'm
Yeah, it's all
so
good.
sorry.
Sorry, we were just doing some stuff with Neon and Zephyr
Everything
and
just
Caleb
went
anyway.
to shit. I am so sorry.
Yeah, it happens.
You're gonna guard the elf babies.
Wow. I'm going to go put it that way.
Yes. Did that
Yeah,
one.
Caleb is going to basically keep watch while the others rest.
All right. Noted. So, Caleb, you keep your musket at the ready and kind of just lean against a wall. Lucian begins to meditate. Gil begins to do the same.
Well,
Raccoon
actually,
kind of.
Gil's got a couple of things he would like to do.
Oh, all right. Do you want to help the short squad into the vent first, though?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So, this is because you're having to go one at a time. This is important. Who's going first, second, and last?
Well, I would just probably say Kyoto should go last so her slime doesn't get the others they're coming up behind her.
Yeah, but
I
would
was
they
gonna
be able
suggest-
to fit without her slime?
Yeah, I was gonna suggest you go. Kara goes first, so that the slime makes it easier for us to slip through.
The only
Yeah,
problem with that,
lubricant.
I get that.
Is
The only,
the slime, though, gonna poison them when they touch it?
I don't think so. I think you have to be skin contact.
Yeah, it has to be bare skin to skin contact. The slime doesn't do anything on its own.
I mean,
Oh,
technically
okay.
it does, because you can apply it on a weapon, it just does poison damage. but
True,
But
but
either way.
but even then, they
Technically,
should.
apparently.
Either way, the problem is if Carol goes first, she can't see where she's going. We're gonna have a blind frog.
Could
With the
A
could
flying
she borrow
frog.
could she borrow the jack-o'-lantern head?
With the jack.
Would the pumpkin fit?
Yeah, the pumpkin would easily fit.
Okay, Caleb's gonna give Carol the pumpkin so they can see.
Oh, thank you.
Caleb, Caro, Caleb hands you the jack-o'-lantern item. So you may note that you have that for the time being. All right. So are you guys committed to Kara going first then, as long as they have the jack-o'-lantern?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Who's gonna go behind Kara?
I'll go behind Kara.
Alright.
Smallest will be in the back.
All right. So, Gil, you hold out your hands and allow Caro to step onto your grip and
Wow.
start climbing their way into the vents. Please make me a Constitution saving
Yeah, I was
throw.
like, that's what I was thinking. Carol doesn't have her armor anymore, so.
Well,
Also, what's I forgot the name of the tiger doing.
16.
I was gonna ask if Caro can cuddle up with Lucian for warmth.
Caro's in the vent.
Well, Caro
No,
has to
I
go
he's
through
saying-
the vents.
Garo. I meant Garo.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Garo kind of just lounges over your lap as you're meditating.
I just
But yeah, so,
absent
Gil,
mindedly pet.
16.
And Gil, what'd you roll for your con save?
16.
I believe that does beat it. Yes, Kara?
Dun,
Okay.
dun,
You
dun,
feel
dun, dun,
you-
dun,
You feel a
dun,
tingling in
dun.
your palms and fingers, but hoist the frog over your head, and you all watch as Carol kind of does that frog thing of like climbing into a space, but their leg kind of kicks a little bit as they're like finding their leverage before Caro begins to worm their way into the vent. Caro, because you're having to hold the jack-o'-lantern activated and casting its cone of light in front of you, you're basically having to shimmy by like using your elbows to kind of push against the walls. It's not comfortable. It's literally so narrow that you can't even bend your legs in here, but you are able to shimmy your way along.
Helped by your slick slime.
Yes, although that makes it very much colder for me.
Neon goes next. Gil, you hoist the fox again over your head, and Neon, you kind of have to struggle a bit to get your head and ears through, but are able to kind of like force your way through. And finally, Zephyr, being the smallest by far, it's actually a lot more comfortable for you, although your head still kind of scrapes against it uncomfortably. But you're able to, you all watch as Zephyr's tail kind of snakes behind him before disappearing into the vent. Caro, Neon, and Zephyr have temporarily separated to check out the vents and see if they can't
What the
use them to trace the source of
party?
the cold.
Only person
Because
we're-
that always works.
Yeah, the only person we're missing is Raccoon. Then we have the full small squad and the big squad.
yeah.
Oh, what the hell, Raccoon? You come along too.
Yeah,
If Raccoon is gonna
bring
go
it
with
in.
them, I do have something for Raccoon.
I don't think.
Well, yeah, no, I figured like since they're not here, I would let Raccoon kind of crawls off of Gil and just kind of, since the group seems to be committed to those who aren't going into the events to just stay here and rest. Raccoon kind of like sits against the wall and just kind of like settles in, seeming a bit despondent, and freezing, but just kind of staring ahead. Caleb, you sit back and keep watch, having to strain your eyes a little bit, as there's still some fluorescent lighting, but like it's not as bright without the jack-o'-lantern. Lucian, you meditate with Garrow lounging across your lap. Gil, you said you had some stuff.
Yeah, I want to go over to the robot.
Okay.
I wanted to see if I can figure out how its guns are on it and its ammunition.
Make me a general intelligence check at disadvantage.
Wouldn't it be investigation?
Well, no, this is intelligence because the actual tools to investigate machines are also intelligence-based, which is what Neon was rolling. So I'm calling this because he's basically trying to study the mechanics of how it works.
Yeah.
So I'm basically making it essentially the equivalent of someone who has no familiarity with these devices trying to figure out how they work.
15.
All right. You look around. You do recognize vaguely the types of weapons you're looking at. Um, uh, the rotary cannon you have no familiarity with, although it seems to be a fairly basic function. It's simply several guns in a rotating pattern, likely to reduce the strain on the barrel, which you know is something that the gunslingers conclave, who work for the Gyogran army to produce weapons, that is something they've been struggling with, and the main reason that Gyogre has not started using multi-shot weapons is because they have yet to figure out how to spare the barrels the intense heat and pressure they would undergo. This rotary cannon appears to be a way of circumventing that. The siege cannon you recognize very well. It appears to be a relatively simple cannon, although its make and it's very refined, and you imagine that's why it seems to be more powerful than the ones you're used to. And the weapon on its arm appears to be a deceptively simple blunderbuss, although the fact that you know it to fire more shots than one makes you think that it likely mechanism. But looking over it, you're not sure where the ammo is stored, nor are you 100% sure how the weapons themselves work, as you don't even see visible triggers. They appear to be just directly built into the machine, and some internal mechanisms likely provide them with ammo and pull the internal triggers.
So no way that I could actually.
By your best judgment,
take
even
this
if you were to...
stuff.
Yeah, by your best judgment, as far as you can tell, even if you were to pull any of the guns off, they wouldn't do anything, because you wouldn't have the internal mechanisms to fire them or load them.
You would have had to have had like a receiver or something on hand, which holds the trigger and action and all that, which you don't.
So
yeah,
I want to take a little bit of time to take the guns off anyways, and then try to dissect this machine just to figure it out.
All right, another intelligence check at disadvantage.
That'll rest.
Well, he doesn't have spells, so.
Oh yeah, but he's got health.
Well, he does have health to be concerned about, though.
Yeah, you can just take a short rest. Get
But
that.
if this...
Like, I'm not taking a whole lot of time to do this, just a little
Hey,
bit.
if you want to
Yeah, so
pull
you're
this
dissecting.
machine apart without tools, mind you, it's going to take you a while.
I was like, you're dissecting a machine. Unless you're like ripping it apart with bare hands.
Good point.
So do you want to do this, or do you want to wait?
I'll wait. At least I'll wait until Neon gets back.
Okay. So, kind of disappointed that you can't retrieve and repurpose to add these weapons to your ever-growing stock of guns you aren't trained to use. You decide to put off the mechanical autopsy for the time being and sit back against the wall and wait for the small squad to return. Is there anything else? Is there anything anyone among those staying here want to do before we cut to the small squad?
Nope.
Caleb's just keeping watch.
Okay. Lucian, I know, is meditating. All right. So.
Small squad.
Inside the vents.
Small squad.
I will need all of you to make me dexterity saving throws. Caro, you just make yours flat, but the rest of yours make yours with advantage.
Ah, advantage, you say?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so-
don't mind if
so-
I do.
Yeah, so everyone makes a dex save, but everyone sans Caro makes it with advantage.
First one sucked.
16.
8. Okay, second one's even worse.
Oh no.
Well,
Must there be like a fan in here that could like shred you?
it is.
How we lost our party in half of just a few minutes.
Second one was a natural 1. The first one was a 16.
Okay.
16's not that bad.
Well, I rolled an 8.
D&D&D.
I rolled an 8. I just have a good dex saving throw.
Oh, right. I forgot. That's different than your,
I'll end you.
frick? The
It's just
thing.
that you have proficiency.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be much better then. So that won't be a 16. That'll be a friggin' 19.
All right. Kara?
Sorry, 1 second. D&D Beyond was being mean to me.
Yeah, it happens. Don't worry. So yeah, yours will just be a flat deck save.
Okay.
It's the xenomorph. It's in the vents.
Oh shit! Oh no!
Alien
My-
isolation up in this
funny.
shit.
Where did
That'd
it
be the smallest
Oh,
fucking. You know, that'd be the smallest fucking xenomorph ever.
Yeah. Just tiny. Just skittering through
The
vents.
tiniest little xenomorph there ever was.
God, normally in a game, being an event makes you feel safe, but in Alien Isolation, I feel even less safe when I'm in an event.
I played
Okay.
that.
I mean, yeah.
And
It's a
there's nowhere
17.
to go.
17
I
you
love how
said,
the
Kara?
game even
Yeah.
gives you a gun,
Okay.
but it's useless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The alien
All
just perfectly dodges it every time.
Perfectly done.
Yeah, that's what happens if you try to shoot at the alien in the game. It'll just dodge it every time.
I don't think I've ever tried to shoot.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah.
I saw it in a video.
So,
Okay, I think you do fight like human things. Yes, you fight humans.
yeah,
so-
I think they're robots.
Yeah, robots and humans.
Yeah, so, Kero at the lead. You shimmy your way along. While you're not as benefited by your natural lubricant, especially with the cold, you're able to squeeze and crawl your way through the vent easily enough. Again, it's uncomfortable, especially with you having to hold the light. Your elbows are quickly becoming sore, but you are able to continue. Neon behind Caro. You're initially a little like as you find your fur getting like just laminated by Caro's mucus, but you actually find that it's helping kind of move you along a bit smoother, and you're able to less like brutally crawl along and making your limbs also sore, and more able to just kind of like nudge and slide your way. Zephyr, furthest in the back, you actually find yourself getting stuck for a very brief moment, but kind of wiggle yourself around and pull yourself free and continue, also using the lubricant to aid you.
Lubricants hindering me.
Yeah. You find yourselves circling, actually going off a drop-off and down towards the right. As you
Oh,
pass
that must
this
have
way,
been
you see to
fun
the
to try and go down a drop off in there.
yeah, you guys basically had to kind of position yourself so that you would fall on your side. It's not like a steep drop, but yeah, there's no way to like comfortably do it and then just continue shimmying. Like it's clear that this vent was like just utility, not made for people to get up in.
It's like, most vents aren't.
Well, some vents are at least on the decently large side, but anyways, Neon, you actually see to your left as you hit that drop off. You do see a fan actually. It's just not in your way, but it's stopped, completely frozen, covered in frost.
I wonder. That might be worth investigating.
You want to take a look at it?
I kinda do.
Make an investigation check.
I might
Turns
just.
out there's an Edgar vent beast
Could
that's
be.
been freezing everything.
You gotta try to shoot at it, pew pew.
13. It's not
Yeah.
bad, but it's not great.
Neon fires their gun, and you all go deaf.
Yeah, it would reverberate through
Yeah.
the. And then everyone back in the other room just here.
And then just muffled screaming.
Zephyr, as you're shimmying along, you kind of come to a stop once you hit the drop-off as you see Neon kind of cautiously looking at the frozen fan. Caro, you hear the shuffling behind you stop, so you kind of glance over your shoulder to see this as well. Neon, looking at this frozen fan, it doesn't appear particularly unusual. In fact, it strikes you as pretty much the build-up you would expect from an air vent, but what catches you is just how thick it is. Like, this frost is basically hugging it in a very, very dense layer. And the cold is only getting more severe the further you guys travel down this vent. So you get the impression that while it didn't cling to the metal lining the vent as much, as it's a lot more like sheen metal, this fan was not spared, especially since the fan was generating more cool air. The ice appears to have literally just frozen to it and slowed it down to the point it can't move anymore.
Cool air.
Yeah, whatever.
They just blow air onto you.
Yeah. So yeah, like it doesn't appear necessarily at least by your best judgment that this is unnatural per se, at least in the sense that like basically this is the buildup you would expect from something like this. It's just more startling how like pervasive it is, especially given that like the sheen of the vents has been spared a bit more lightly.
Oh boy. Man, it would sure suck if it got so cold that we started freezing to the side of the vents and we got stuck here. Wouldn't that suck?
Maybe.
Wouldn't that suck, guys, if we got stuck in here because of the cold?
Don't beat me to it.
It would.
Matthew, shut up. You're not gonna do that.
You're not gonna do that. Well.
So, with that, you guys continue.
Yeah,
The vents go down, down, down in this very gradual slope, and then gradually curve to the left. After a while, a curve to the right. And Caro, you catch this first at the lead of the group, but the rest of you can hear this as well. You hear up ahead of you, as you've been in the vents for quite a while now, you start to hear this distant sound. This like low Neon, you recognize this as a motor that is straining. Whatever device is making this sound is under immense pressure and ready to burst.
Is there any place that I could like look out of the vent, like any other vent covers, or?
Not that you've seen yet. Just basically, as you guys are heading down a right turn in the vents, you hear this sound starting to echo down the vent. Although you up ahead can see some light entering the otherwise dark vent. Other than the light generated by
must
Caro's
be really
lamp.
hurting at this point.
Yeah, no, Caro's arms are exhausted.
Yeah, pain.
They got
says
strong
sleeping
legs,
now.
though.
Caro says sleep time and takes a nap.
Yeah, in the middle of this.
But yeah, so all of you can hear this, but Neon, you're the only one who knows machines well enough to know that, yeah, it's... Make me an intelligence check to see if you can identify what kind of machine this is.
I will do just that.
What you say it was an engine?
Well, bap.
Well, I said it was a machine that was straining.
That wasn't the best. I got an 8.
You're not sure exactly what kind of machine it is, but yeah, whatever it is, it sounds like it's under some pretty immense pressure.
Darn.
You guys want to proceed?
Yeah, let's keep
forward. Going backwards might be,
Yeah, forward is kind of the only way we can go.
All right.
I'm tired. Let's go back.
Tries to shimmy backwards.
Yeah.
All right. You guys continue forward.
So I just imagine that as they're crawling through, just like Neon's floofy tail just keeps like brushing into one who's behind him.
Zephyr.
Just keeps brushing in Zephyr's face. He goes.
You gotta keep trying to keep himself from sneezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bushy tail just keeps fluffing in his face.
Yeah. Finally, you all begin to approach a light source. Caro, do you want to keep your jack-o'-lantern on, or?
No, I'll turn it off.
Okay.
Or however
Can they use their arms now?
No, but Caro can adjust theirs just enough to pull on the stem to shut Caro, you turn the jack-o'-lantern off, and initially it seems like you're going to be plunged into darkness as the candle dies out, but you find yourselves, the vent is bathed in this definitely deeply artificial light. It's a strange color. It seems like it was yellow at one point, much like the kind of gross fluorescent lights of the rest of this facility, but this one's taken on almost like a bluish sheen, creating this sort of green color from the shades mixing. And Caro at the lead as you proceed forward. The vent doesn't really open any wider, but Caro's body is slim and skinny enough to where those of you in the back could, in theory, peer over her shoulders if you want to see what's going on. You find yourself looking at another vent cover, similar to the one you had entered through. And Caro, you kind of blink a bit as your eyes have to adjust now to actual, like, proper light. As you find yourself looking through, you're not even sure what the purpose of this is. You see yourself looking at just a fairly on the large side room, vast, and it seems like it was once dark, but you do see a fluorescent light kind of cheaply installed on the ceiling, and everything is coated in ice. You do see a door opposite the vent that is so thickly frozen that, and you're familiar with, like, pretty heavy winters in this region. You're 100% sure that door's not going to open on its own without some intervention. Everything in this area is covered in ice except for directly in front of you. You see this wall of just mist and steam, and just this, and that rumbling noise you had heard only is louder now. This, and Neon, now that you're much closer, all of you are suddenly getting bathed in this actually fairly powerful heat. And Neon, you realize what this is now. This is a boiler, and it appears to be functioning. So you're not sure especially because it's so close to the vents, which it's supposed to be. You're not sure, like, where the cold would be coming from. But as the mist begins to fade, you all see stumbling around in the room an Ichor beast. But it's not particularly unusual looking. Its form is singular. Its head, it almost looks akin to these, like, to the infected Ichor beasts, like the ones that were created by an attack, but it has that, like, large, thick Ichor that is definitely like a organic, so to speak, Ichor beast. But its form is, like, simple and well put together, a very simple humanoid. And as it kind of stumbles around, you start to hear this kind of whistling sound. And Neon, you actually start to kind of back up a bit, as you know that's the sound of a boiler that's about to burst. But at this whistling sound, the Ichor beast suddenly swivels its head around and starts to step slowly towards the boiler. And it kind of tilts its head almost curiously at the sound, and you see the pipes starting to shake, and all of you can actually see a very thick layer of frost covering the pipes, and you can see visible steam rising as the building heat in the boiler starts to melt away at it. But the beast kind of, like, stares at the machine almost confused before slowly putting its hands out and grasping the pipes, and the whistle begins to slowly die down as you see more frost building around its hands. And as the machine starts to go back to that rumbling it was doing before finally quieting to just a low, the beast takes its hands off, and you can see visible burns on its palms that appear to have set and solidified. You see the Ichor on where its palms would be has basically, like, been scrubbed away, almost like just the Ichor there has been a combination of frostbitten but then constantly burned. This really intense looking freezer burn. And as the beast kind of takes its hands off the pipe and look down at the now quiet boiler, it kind of stares, drooling Ichor, onto the floor. All better.
Well, this
Sam,
is
I'm like a friendly boy.
Boy, that must be a cactus, because this is a prickly situation.
I'm sorry.
All of you are all of you are now getting blasted by this wave of intense cold, as the beast has literally frozen a part of the boiler.
Well, looks like we're gonna have to fight it.
Or you'll have to
Samantha,
head
how big
back
is
and
this
tell us
room?
what you found.
It's a fairly large room. I'd say by a rough guesstimate, you'd say probably 40 feet across and maybe 60 feet wide.
Okay, good. More than enough space for my mech in case it comes to that. Are there any you mentioned that there was a door, but it's not going to open without some serious intervention.
Yeah, that door, would know especially. That door is frozen solid. Like Gil or your mech or someone's gonna have to ram that shit open.
Hey, good idea, Matthew. So, other than the vent, that door would be the only way into this room. Yes?
Make a
Is that a
perception check.
correct assumption? Okay, I will. Good luck. My perception, or good thing. My perception is very good. I got
Rolls on that one.
and that one. No, I'm kidding. I got an 11, so that's 16.
Looking around, you look.
11 is just a double nat one.
Shut up.
Neon, as you kind of press your face up against the freezing cold grate, looking to your left, you see on the opposite side of the room is a wall of just generators and machinery, likely. And as you kind of look at the structure, the ceiling of this building is kind of low, and you actually start to piece together what this is. You realize you're looking at what is essentially a maintenance shed. The boiler, the generator, everything in this facility running seems to be here, wherever this is relative to everything else. It's hard to tell when you've been just going through metal tunnels. And to your right, you just see a wall. It does indeed appear that it's just the vent or this door.
Well,
and Caro and Zephyr, you all watch as the Ichor Beast just stumbles around, and it starts to actually walk towards the door and like kind of paw at it, leaving like streaks of wet ink on it. Sometimes it kicks, needs maintenance.
Oof. That's disturbing. So
Be a problem situation.
I want to turn to Zephyr and Kara and just I have an idea, but it's not a good one.
Oh,
Well, what is it?
From my estimates, and I like to think my eyes are pretty good, the only way into that room is through this vent or through that door right there that seems to not want to open. So, by my estimates, the only way that we're going to get any help is to open that door. And that means making that thing right there very angry at us. So, my plan goes.
I was gonna say, you all kind of throw a glance to the beast, and you see it's actually now sitting with its back to the door and breathing on its hands. And you see its hands actually start to freeze solid from its breath, and it rubs them together. So cold, so cold.
Baby.
Yeah, maybe he just needs a blanket. Maybe he just needs a nice warm blankie. No. So it goes. I'm thinking I could bring out Morrigan and ram through the door, and we could run and get the others to come help us. Hopefully, at least.
Oh,
Hmm.
an idea, I guess. I agree on the fact that it's not sure how good that.
It's the only one I got.
I understand.
So I don't see us stealthily opening that door.
So I'm gonna have to crawl out first.
True.
Is there a gate or a grate between us?
Yeah, there is a grate, and as you kind of push on it, it does appear to be screwed in on the opposite side.
Hmm.
So they'll immediately know you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't get out! We can't get out!
Jesus Christ! I thought it was gonna say, "We can't hear you," and I was about to shit
It was
myself.
like,
oh, fuck. Yeah.
Well,
but
I guess I'm gonna have to knock the grate out of the way because there's no way I can dislodge it otherwise.
It's
sounds
in the fence.
like it wants to get out.
Veronica, why did you leave me?
So, Caro, you want to just try to kick the grate open?
Bash.
I hear you stifling a chuckle, but I will.
I hear you stifling a chuckle.
Make a strength check.
What's your strength like?
+3.
Better than mine.
Oh, wow, strong frog.
It's strong frog.
You're a
19.
frog now. You're.
Okay. So,
did
Zephyr
they
and
roll?
Neon, you all kind of
I'm sorry. I was
19.
being an idiot.
You two kind of crawl back through the vent a little bit as Caro. It takes a while. It takes a solid minute in and of itself to just position yourself to be able to kick the vent open. And you're kind of scared, Caro, because you're not really able to see what you're doing. So you're just going to have to kick and just clamber out of the vent before things go sideways. But reeling back with your powerful frog legs, you
Strong
kick.
leg.
And whether through the frost just eating away at them, or the constant temperature fluctuation, or just Caro's fucking kicks, you all hear
Kira has strong leg, like sand flea.
the screws fly loose and the vent go scraping across the frost on the floor. You actually hear one of the screws bounce off of the opposite wall as well. And Caro, you immediately just start scrambling. You're upside down, facing backwards, and you actually burn the soles of your feet a few times as you're trying to find purchase to kind of force yourself to vault over the boiler and onto the frosted floor of this room. Zephyr and Neon, do you want to follow out?
Yes, and I'm going to toss out my mech.
All right, so
no.
Zephyr?
I'm gonna stay in the vent with my crossbow ready at the vent.
All right, Zephyr, you're the imposter in Among Us. You aim your crossbow at the ready. This is a perfect hiding spot.
He's pretty sus.
Caro, you pull out your crossbow ready for action, and Neon, you kind of slide and slip a bit over the frosted floor and quickly throw out Morrigan, who starts to crack the ice under the weight of their metallic feet as they take shape. The creature, still with its back to the door, looks up slowly and just blinks. And it leans over and just a flood of ichor vaults from its mouth and just puddles on the floor next to it. We can't get out. We can't get out.
So is it looking aggressive right now, or is it kind of just like passive like the other one?
Make an insight check.
I will do that thing.
I promised to get it out.
I got an 18. Not bad.
It's a bit hard to tell with an ichor beast, but the worst case scenario you can come to is it seems confused. It's looking at you, but seems unfocused and slightly hazy. But it is staring at you, but doesn't seem to be making any hostile moves. By your best estimate, it's not immediately hostile, but you're not confident that it wouldn't become hostile if somehow provoked, and you know how unpredictable ichor beasts can be. So cold. So cold.
Where is the door in relation to the Ichor Beast?
It is literally
Behind it.
leaning on it. It's sitting down with its back to it.
Well, we're gonna have to kill the Ichor Beast anyway, considering
Do
it's
we?
the one causing the cold. It's causing the cold, yeah.
I don't think it's that Ichor Beast alone causing it. But
Matthew,
How do you know?
What's up?
It is magic. Magic could do anything.
what
I
are
mean, you're not
what are
wrong,
Ichor
but-
Beasts considered?
Like in terms of like race,
Well,
like undead.
are they
fiends.
just considered beasts?
They are considered elementals.
Damn.
well, it was like, if that Ichor Beast is causing that blizzard outside, I don't think they would just leave this thing. Just like that's a powerful thing. I think it's some other source, but either way, I mean, you can. I'm gonna let
I was
Neon.
gonna try to use Beast Spawn on him.
I'll let Neon and.
You can try to befriend it if you want.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll let.
Well, no, just because Kara was wanting to cast Beast Spawn, so I was saying just because you can't use Beast Spawn doesn't mean you can't try.
Yeah, I'll let Carol try before the shit pops off.
Just attack it.
Okay, Carol will approach it slowly.
Containment has failed.
No shit, Sherlock.
It's out. It's out. It's so cold.
What's that? Do you
Uh,
know?
One more time,
What's
Kara.
that?
What's that?
Subject theta.
Subject.
Subject beta?
Theta,
Oh,
Theta. Okay.
which you recognize that as one of the names the previous Ichor Beast gave you. It was the second to last creation before Lambda.
Is he the cold one? Or are you the cold one?
Cold and cold and cold.
Hmm.
Can you move from the door, please?
You don't like being in here, yeah?
Kara?
Oh, did it not come in?
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah,
it.
it said you don't like being in here, yeah?
We can't get out.
Well, if you move from the door, maybe we can help.
And it kind of stares before, to all of your shocks, it slowly stands up, shambling a bit and stepping away. It actually steps past you, Caro, and starts to walk towards the boiler. Its kicking needs maintenance. And you all start to hear that whistle coming from the boiler again. And it approaches and breathes on its hands before grabbing the molten pipe skin, just staring you dead in the eyes, Zephyr, with yourself between the pipes. So cold, so cold.
Are you using that to stay warm?
Keep the boiler running. Keep the generators running.
Well, how's your chance?
Neon, is there any way to keep it running at this point?
Is there any way to what?
Keep it running at this point? The boiler.
The boiler? So, Matthew, what check would I make to determine this?
I'll call this a Tinker Tools check, yeah.
Yeah, I figured. Getting a lot
You're
of
not doing
mileage
actual
out of this.
maintenance, but you know machines, and I think this is the best way to represent that.
Hey, 17.
Taking a look at the boiler and the generators appear to be just clinging to their last legs, like whatever this beast has been doing, it has at least been keeping them alive, but these generators are old and freezing and are barely holding on. And suddenly all the flickering and weak fluorescent lights in the facility make a lot more sense. The boiler itself is basically a lost cause. It seems to be constantly on the verge of overheating, and the beast has to literally freeze the pipes to keep it from overloading.
So if he leaves, that's gonna explode, and no more power.
Well, diagnosis is not good. It's basically running on fumes, so to speak.
It's gonna blow.
It's gonna blow.
Well, what would happen if it did?
How big is this boiler? Would it just like fuck up this room, or is this like?
It would destroy the building this is in, but it wouldn't take out the whole facility. It's a pretty small boiler.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
It seems like this is more auxiliary power to be combined with the generators and also provide heat to the facility.
So,
If we leave, you'll need to follow behind quickly.
Where are we going?
Well, away from these, because it will blow up.
Need to watch the boiler.
No, it'll be okay.
Oh, don't worry, the boiler's gonna be just fine.
Just fine as they walk away.
Carol, make a persuasion.
What I just said.
Carol, make a persuasion check, and I'll give you advantage since Neon's technically helping you.
Ignore what I just said. The boiler's just fine.
The boiler's fine. It's fine.
Just like rolling their eyes as they say
This is
it's
fine.
fine.
Yeah, 20, but it's a dirty 20.
The beast kind of stares at you, looks back at Zephyr in the vents, kind of watches the pipes that are already starting to shake and steam again, and looks back to you, Caro and Neon, and its eyes kind of droop, and it slowly lets out a goopy nod. I want to go home.
Oh, that's sad.
Oh my lord.
Where do you live?
Edict.
I want to lean into Caro. I almost said Garo. I want to lean into Caro and just be like, yeah, that's not happening.
No, I know, but we can at least get them away from this. That's about to blow up.
Oh boy. This is gonna make me feel like a right dickhead.
What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and just hop into Morrigan and smash down the door.
Make a strength check with your Mac.
Hang on, bear with me for a sec. I have to pull up the stats for it.
Sure thing. Meanwhile, Caro and Zephyr, what are the two of you doing? As Neon gets in position to ram the door down.
I guess
Make a stats.
if I can, I guess I'll climb out of the.
Yeah, everyone else did.
Yeah.
Again, you kind of have to hop a bit so that you don't burn yourself on the boiler, but you can kind of vault over it, especially with your small size, and kind of land on. You immediately just grimace as your hands and feet are like instantly greeted with. And huh? Basically, like the ground in this room is frozen solid, so like you immediately are just like as your hands and feet meet the ice as you jump out. And Caro, you just watch as the creature just stares around the room, kind of looking. It seems like it has like bouts of just confusion and looking lost before suddenly turning its head back to the boiler and watching it before letting its gaze roam again, and the cycle repeats.
Caro's just kind of looking at it, with a small smile.
Neon?
I got a 21.
All right.
That's what they want.
You kind of do like the kind of bull motion with Morgan and charge, slipping a little bit, but not too much to throw you off on the icy floor. You hear ice and frost crack and shatter as Morgan rams the door open, and all of your pupils immediately dilate as you're greeted with just a field of snow. Only Morgan's weight pushing the door enough to actually open, as Morgan's already about ankle deep in this snow and only sinking as it gets deeper in. The creature kind of puts its hands up, like it clearly has not seen the outside of this room in quite a while, and slowly starts to stumble its way towards the door. All of you kind of peek out, Neon and Morgan, and you see all around you, actually very similar to the cavern you would come in, but you can see that this is clearly a contained area, but it appears to be built in a sort of, it appears that this is built in a smaller cavern beneath the previous one. As it has that same kind of feel of just a stretch of tundra, but if you squint, you can actually see the boundaries. This is definitely a small-ish cavern that this part of the facility was just kind of built into. Looking around, you see a few other buildings, likely other maintenance places, but you have no idea which way is up. Neon, you can hear the moist trudging through the snow as the Ichor Beast stands behind you. So cold, so cold.
Probably not a good thing.
Guess all we can do is go forward.
Where are we going?
Somewhere safe.
We're trying to find our way to our other friends.
In the main facility.
Where?
Carol looks around. Can I see anything here?
Make a perception check at disadvantage.
Okay. Oof, an 8.
It is thick snow and frost. As in here, similar to outside, there is actually some snow, although you notice now that it's actually coming directly from the area you are. So basically the snow is just blasting up against your back and blowing outwards into this cavern.
He looks to the Ichor Beast and asks, "Do you recognize anything around here?"
The lamps. The lamps.
The lamps?
Lamps. And they point with a drooping finger in a direction that just looks like nothing to you, but gestures that way.
Okay, well, let's go that way then.
I'll help you follow me.
Yeah, sure.
Oh no.
Small squad away.
And here we go on our little adventure.
Hey, Austin, look, Zephyr's making friends.
Yeah.
And this is how we lost half the party.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder how long Caleb and Gil and
Yeah,
Lucian
how
will
long
wait.
have they been there?
How
In
long are they
total,
going to wait?
So Lucian went down to meditate, pretty much when Neon and Kara were taking care of their business. And between that and the trip through the vents and entering into this area, in total, the party's this group's only been gone for just about reaching an hour now. But in total, you all have been chilling for about 2, because Lucian started resting before Kara started disarmoring themselves, and Neon was taking apart the machine. So
Give me 2 more hours and I'm good.
I wonder how long the rest of the party is going to wait before they assume something happened.
Lucian's going to try to take advantage of this time and try to get her 4 hours.
Greedy person, you.
So is Gil also? Well, Gil's I think only getting an hour, right?
Well, no, because he gave up trying to dissect the machine, so he's going down for. But yes, so far Gil has only gotten an hour rest since he was up doing stuff, helping the group get in and out of the vents and stuff. So
Caleb didn't need a rest, so.
Yeah, so he's just watching.
Caleb's at full health and doesn't use spells, so.
Yeah, the only problem is if we go for too long and exhaustion.
Yeah, you'll start getting exhausted just from lack of sleep. The Ichor Beast starts to trudge forward.
Well, how long has it been since we last slept?
Since you last slept? See, it hasn't been too long. I'd say probably in total about 6 hours now, maybe 7.
Yeah, he's still good. He could probably go for another 6 hours easily.
But the Ichor Beast starts to trudge forward, breathing on its hands. You can't tell whether it's to soothe the burns or just an instinct to warm itself up, but it clasps its frozen ichory hands together. So cold, so cold.
Yes, it is very cold here.
Follow me.
Okay.
Alrighty then. Zephyr's good. I guess Zephyr will just be a little on edge and probably a little uncomfortable from the cold, but just Zephyr will follow in.
Is Cranky Zephyr coming back?
Not yet, but give it time.
Oh, the animals have been fed.
The animals?
Oh my god!
Matt, why are you doing this to us?
I was like,
No!
They're dead. Either
And
frozen to death or starved to death.
And Caro, you said something?
There are animals here or at your home?
Research. And you see the face actually start to crack into what appears to be a very goopy smile. I kept pigeons.
Oh.
He kept pigeons?
Where did he get the pigeons?
Good question.
They're underground.
That's a very good question.
Fucking
BRB dying.
Pigeons?
It's a very good question. Caro, as an animal person, would probably know that that's a little odd.
Do you know why you had the pigeons?
You cut out one more time.
Do you know why you had the pigeons? Or did you just like them?
Liked them. The research. Transmit.
I have an animal too. He's a tiger.
Exotic.
Yes, yes. I
It's a
speak
very
him.
smart Ichor Beast.
That's true. Very unusual.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that. An Ichor Beast that can talk and form complete sentences and think for itself. Unusual.
Well, they perfected the formula where they don't, so they don't do that.
I wonder if this is Lambda, which is the last one.
Well, Caro seemed to guide it in the direction that this appears to be Theta.
Oh, that's right. He said that.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
So he's
he.
very close to the final one.
I thought he was saying Feta was the cold.
Well, yes, but because Caro asked who they were, and they said Theta. And while they didn't give a straight answer to if they were the one creating the cold, they just responded with "It's very cold," basically. But the creature continues to lead you all. Are you content to follow?
Yes.
Content, no, but I will follow.
We are willing.
All right. So you all follow in this Ichor Beast's wake as it stumbles and trudges ahead. You
And
find
does it leave
yourselves
black
trudging.
snow in its wake.
Yeah, literally staining the snow as it walks. And you all follow, careful not to touch the snow that it leaves behind. As you cross this deep, intense snow, Zephyr, you're easily up to your chest and like basically just swimming.
It's like
Neon
that.
and your
You
mech
ever seen the
faring a
video
little
of the
bit better.
corgis in the snow tunnels?
Yeah, basically, basically that's Zephyr right now.
Yeah, he's just crawling through tunnels of snow.
And Carol, following closest to the Ichor Beast, you actually hear it occasionally just sort of mumble to itself, although it never looks back at any of you or directly engages without being engaged, so you can't tell if it's just trying to talk to you or if it's just mumbling to itself and has forgotten you're there. But as it continues to trudge, you hear it just mumble to itself. Morley, water the plants. Feed the pigeons.
Is he trying to make a pigeon noise?
I want to kind of lean down to Kara and just be like, "Oi, try asking it who it was."
Are you Marley, or is that someone you knew?
Marley, the gardener. Water the plants.
So what was your name?
I know.
Well, that's your code name, right? Do you remember your name?
It stops and just vomits a cascade of ichor into the snow and plants its hands on either side of it to steady itself. And finally, no.
It's okay.
Fix the boiler. So cold, we can't get out.
You mean out of this building?
It breathes, and rather than the cascade of ichor, you see this intense frost, and the air all around the three of you gets. Even Neon in your mech, you can feel it get colder as it curls into itself, and so cold.
Carol leans down to her and she says, Theta, are you okay?
Theta has breached containment. So cold. We can't get out.
God damn, this is like pitiful.
Seal the airlocks. Seal the airlocks. Quarantine. Quarantine.
Matthew, how's your throat doing?
I'm loving this.
I'm going to kill Kalum.
You're gonna kill Kalum.
I'm gonna kill him.
Apparently, Lucian's already dictated she's gonna kill him.
Take turns murdering.
We'll kill him,
We
so
all
we
just take a
vivify him,
stab.
and then we'll kill him again.
We'll just go like it'll be like oh god, what was that day when Julius Caesar was killed? Ides, something like that. It was some day
Ides
of
of
Oh,
March.
the Ides of Rome. Yeah.
Sides of March, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Tides
We're
of
just
March.
gonna-
Sorry.
We're gonna go Ides of March on him. We're all just gonna stab him.
Gather around him, stab him, all the Icker beasts stab him. um, do you need the rest for a second, Theta?
It claws into the snow. I can keep going.
Hmm.
If you're sure.
Uh,
Let's keep going.
I actually want to ask him something real quick.
Go for it. He's kind of slowly rising to his feet, vomiting a bit more ichor as he does so.
Theater. You keep saying you're cold. Would you like? I can't do much, but I have a blowtorch. You can maybe warm your hands near it.
He slowly starts to, almost like in a surrendering motion, starts to put his hands in the air, and you can see just this horrible, deep freezer burn on his palms where he's been clutching the pipes of that boiler.
You're trying to blow torches.
No, I'm not saying I'm gonna blowtorch him. I'm just saying, like, here, hold it up.
Yeah, just give him some heat to work with.
Yeah, just hold it up and let him just kind of warm his hands around it. I can't tell if that's a yes or a no.
Warm.
Okay. Well, that's enough for me. So I kind of just have Morrigan just hold out one of its legs so that I can just comfortably walk down its leg, standing at roughly eye level with the boy. I produce the torch and just kind of hold it up.
You all watch as the Ichor Beast kind of stares at the fire with its head tilted before slowly raising its hands, and you can see the ichor around its fingers actually start to melt a little bit from the heat. But it doesn't seem to assuage the burns, but it seems to make the creature happy, at least, as its body kind of goops and leans over and drools a little bit of ichor as it just stares at the fire. And it's silent for a moment before. Theta is smarter than the others.
Ooh.
It can think.
I'm beginning to gather that.
What was the other one that we talked to called?
Beta?
Yes, that one was.
Alpha.
Let me double check.
Alpha.
Yeah,
That
yes,
was
that one was
Alpha.
Alpha.
Yeah.
So Theta,
Okay, make a note.
were they trying to make all of you smarter?
Mix more. Make them smarter. Make them stronger.
All right.
The creature kind of hesitates. They need 2 souls.
So you're 2 people.
Was.
You were 2 people.
Like raccoon.
It gives a slow nod. And Neon, what were you going to say?
Theta, I'm going to need some sort of assurance that you're not going to attack any of our associates whenever we meet up with them. Can you give me some assurance?
The creature kind of stares at you for a moment, its gaze occasionally flicking back to the blowtorch before it coughs a bit and spits some ichor into the snow. Theta is smarter. It can think for itself.
Hold up your right hand.
if you can guarantee that you won't attack any of them, just want to be clear.
It stares for a moment before slowly holding up a hand. I'm
Right hand?
lost.
They hold up its left hand.
Yeah. Yes, it does hold up its right hand and looks at you.
Okay.
I'm lost. I want to go home.
We'll see what we can do. We'll try our best.
Its gaze slowly swivels back to you, Caro. Friends, where are they?
Well, they were back before we crawled through that vent.
Its head slowly looks to the building that contained the boiler. Upstairs.
It go down a lot.
That is true. So yeah.
Yes.
Follow me.
Okay.
All right, we're just gonna walk up to the group like, "Hey guys, we made a friend."
Pet.
He's our friend.
Yeah, I'll get a house here. You can live with me. That'd be my roommate. My horrible, horrible roommate.
Wait, no, it's like Stardew Valley with oh god, I forget his name. The eldritch creature, or the shadow demon.
Oh, here, let me see.
Yeah.
That wasn't you guys. That was actually just clear my throat because I was drinking some water.
Yeah.
The creature continues to stumble and occasionally mutter to itself. Feed the pigeons. Prepare the boiler. You guys continue to follow in the wake of Subject Theta, an Ichor beast that seems to be the close to final product of seemingly years of research into combining more and more ambitious Ichor beasts to make them smarter, stronger, eventually resulting in Theta and presumably whatever Lambda is that can think for itself, and just the implication of its power, where a single breath caused a visible dip in the temperature during a blizzard. These Ichor beasts are presumably a lot stronger. Occasionally, Theta stumbles and has to drag itself to continue moving. Its body is clearly just not fully realized and struggling to hold together. And eventually, as you're all walking, it turns to you, Caro. Name?
Oh, me? My name is Carol.
It swivels its head around to you, Zephyr. Name?
I go by Zephyr.
And finally, it cranes it completely 180ing its head to look behind itself at you, Neon.
Officer Neon.
Peacekeepers.
That's right.
You weren't supposed to find us.
Well, here I am.
And it vomits some ichor behind itself before its head swivels back around to keep moving.
Well, that was disturbing. I think the worst thing is when these things try to, I guess, laugh. I guess that's what that was. Whatever that noise is, I hate it.
He's a little chuckle.
Almost to the cellar.
The cellar?
Cellar. Go through the airlocks upstairs.
Does that compute, Matt?
Make an insight check.
Yeah, I would very much like to. That seems weird. That seems like he's leading us to a completely different building.
He's smarter.
Okay, 17.
You do believe he thinks he's telling the truth, but between that and his weird movements, especially because you notice him occasionally like stopping and occasionally like looking around, almost like he seems surprised to see you behind him before keeping moving. He does seem like he's genuinely trying to lead you the right way, but between his weird descriptions of the layout and like yeah, like you said, the fact that it clearly doesn't make geometric sense, mixed with the fact that he seems clearly kind of confused at all times, you don't think he's leading you anywhere wrong deliberately, but you do kind of worry that he himself may not know which way he's going.
Yeah, see, he's he's a kid with ADHD who thinks he's helping. Theta, you mind if I take the lead for a little bit?
Do you know the way?
Deception. Yes, I do.
Make a deception check. I'll give you advantage because he
I
trusts you.
Oh, wow, he trusts us. How nice. Man, sucks for him. No, I got a 4 and then a 19.
They just kind of stare at you and drool for a second before slowly nodding their head. Follow Officer Neon.
All right then. So I imagine I could at least kind of essentially feel my way around, for lack of a better word, just in the direction that the vent was pointed at. Yeah.
It's
Kinda
a
like,
bit.
oh.
You can try.
Yeah,
It's a
just
bit,
like
bit tricky.
yeah, just because like yeah, it's like oh the vent was on the right side of the room, ergo the room that we came from must be towards the right side of this building. You know, that kind of thing.
You can try. Just bear in mind you've already been trudging through the snow for a while and not in a straight line, so it may basically you can try, but your sense of direction may be a little off after, especially because this guy was kind of like stumbling around, so you were never really going in a perfectly straight line.
Could I be maybe a could I do maybe a survival check perhaps to try and
Absolutely
glean which way we're going here?
Go for it.
Good. Survival is really, for once I have a character with really good survival.
Yeah, go for
15.
All right, so you stop taking the lead of the group now and take a moment to look around and just collect yourself, figure out what's around you. It's hard to see through the snow and mist, but you see that again, several buildings. You're actually not too far from one, which appears to be built into the center of the cavern. You're not sure what it is, especially with the snow, so you can't exactly see any signage, but you do see a building not too far from where you're currently standing. And you see a very large building up ahead of you if you keep going the way you were going. And by your best guesstimate, that building may have something that leads because technically you're going the opposite direction of where you're supposed to be going, like if you're going off of the vents, but the boiler room appears to be built for as far back in the cavern away from everything else as possible, so you kind of have to rely on going into another building that may essentially circle around back towards the rest of the facility.
Okay.
But so you see the building in the center, a few small buildings off to your right, although they're a bit of a distance away from you, and a very large building directly ahead. That almost like this massive, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of almost faculty building kind of feel to it.
All right. I want to turn to Caro and Zephyr and just ask him like, hey, which building do you think looks nice? Which building's the goodest to go to? What do you think?
Can we see the pigeons?
We can absolutely see the pigeons, Theta. That is indeed the sound they make.
Zephyr, Kara.
It is your call. I wouldn't. Well, I don't know where we're going. This whole time we've been following Fada.
So, we are completely fucking lost.
Small
so
squad lost.
So there is the large faculty building.
Yeah, which is
cluster
further
small.
ahead of you. Yeah, off to the right.
Well,
Small.
if it's upstairs, maybe they'd want to look for something that looks like it's going up.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So either the large building, likely, and then what was the other? There was a large faculty building, then there was the small cluster of buildings, and then a third one.
Yeah, there's a third one seemingly in the middle of the cavern that's actually not too far from where you are. Like you could easily reach it with just a couple minutes of walking.
Okay. I say, fuck it. We can go to that one and see if there's anything. Like worst case scenario, we could use that to see if there's anything there that would help guide us. Maybe there's a map or something for all we know.
Not supposed to go there.
Oh.
Why not?
Mr. Smithers' house.
Oh.
He's not around right now. He sent us here to check on the place.
Wait, what did it say?
Make a deception check.
Yep, doing it.
What did Theta say?
Yeah, what did Theta say?
What
was the
we're
name
not supposed
they
to go
said?
there. That's Mr. Smithers' house. Mr. Smithers, the person who runs the coal company and
Just
seems to work for the
double-checking.
Concord. Yeah.
18, by the way. Lucky.
The creature kind of tilts its head, and its eyes kind of droop very slightly as it kind of shakes its head. Don't lie.
You did already tell
All
that
right.
you were a peacekeeper.
That is true. Well, I mean, hey, for all we know, he could have hired us to do this. But anyways, Neon just kind of rubs the back of their head, just like, I'm sorry, I'm not too good at this yet. But the point is, we're trying to help you, and we might need to go into that building to keep helping you.
Make a persuasion check.
All right. Persuasion, I am equally not as good at, but 16. Lucky rolls with both of them, even though the first one didn't work.
Theta kind of hesitates for a moment before slowly nodding. Okay. Don't touch anything, please.
We'll try not to. Up onward to the faculty building.
All right. You guys start trudging through the snow towards. So are you heading towards the building in the middle or the big faculty building?
Or not the faculty building. The
Yeah,
one that
that's what I thought. That's why I was checking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one in the middle. Too far from you. And yeah, as you get closer, you can kind of see that it's meant to be more of a living quarters. It doesn't seem to. You do see neon, what you recognize as a few radio antennae, but other than that, you don't see anything that would indicate this building has any real function to it. At the as you kind of circle around the building, you see one of those familiar keycard slots and a biometric scanner.
Keycard slot and a biometric scanner. Fantastic.
We have Veda over here.
He has the hack thing.
Oh yeah, and the hack.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have the hack thing, and I don't feel like Theta is gonna be allowed in, and 2, I don't feel like Theta will want to be allowed in. So, something tells me that this isn't the building, but I guess I'll just try and use my hacking tool, see if I can open that door.
Okay, make it. So there's going to be effectively a Tinker Tools check, like same stat, like it's intelligence and proficiency.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and make me a hacking tools check, which again will be your intelligence mixed with your proficiency.
Oh, I've been supposed to be making Tinker Tools checks with intelligence as well as my proficiency. Okay, I've just been using just my proficiency this whole time.
I mean, hey, you've been making the rolls you need to make, so it's fine.
Yeah. I just didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, all tools are the relevant stat, and if you're proficient, add your proficiency.
Okay.
So,
okay, that makes
sense. We're learning.
Okay.
Yeah, nope, you're good. Oh, no worries. So now you know.
Okay, so then in that case, oh my god. Plus an extra 3, so 24.
You slowly let the hacking tool, that same computer chip on a stick, essentially, extend from the metallic finger of the glove and slowly insert it. So are you trying to hack the biometric scanner or the key card?
Biometric scanner.
Okay. And you slowly insert it into a small port below it, and there's a pause, and you kind of scrunch up your face and hesitate a bit as everyone kind of watches with bated, freezing breaths as the blizzard only gets colder before you see the scan start, reach the top without error, and the screen turns off. You have bypassed the biometric scan by hacking.
Whew. Okay. So, question: is the door open, or is
no? Because there's still the key card slot. Although you can try to hack that, or you've seen Zephyr just brute force his way through them.
Okay. Zephyr, you want to help us out with the card here?
Whatever will get us out of this.
So Caro, Neon, which of you, if either, wants to give Zephyr a boost so that he can reach it?
I'll give him a boost. Continue the bit.
Alright.
You're on your mech now. Just like,
No, I get out of my mech specifically.
All right.
So Zephyr, you're hoisted onto Neon's small shoulders once again. Make a Thieves' Tools check.
Fools.
Let me roll. Thieves' Tools. Okay, not bad, not bad. Plus my dexterity, right?
Yeah, dexterity and proficiency.
Plus,
although I think, did you give yourself expertise in Thieves' Tools? So yeah, it'll be double your proficiency.
Yeah. So basically it's a plus 10, so 23.
Zephyr, you've done this enough times to have a kind of feel for it. You reach your lock picks back, and rather than trying to pick the lock, you simply feel around to grab the wires and just rip them. Neon, you kind of give a small nudge to the biometric scanner since it's been hacked, and after a delay, you see the key card slot spark a little bit as Zephyr takes his metal tools away, and the door begins to open. And it's still chilly in there, as you all now know that the place that's been providing heat to this facility has been deeply compromised. But it's warmer since it's out of the wind, at least. And I'm assuming you all enter?
Yep.
I
assume my mech won't be able to enter.
Yeah, it's a room. It's a house meant for one person. It's like kind of a hovel. So.
All right, mech goes back in my pocket.
So Caro, Zephyr, and Neon, sans mech with Theta in tow, enter this building, seemingly the living quarters of Mr. Smithers himself. And you all immediately find yourselves kind of balking as directly you see a large room on the left, a large room on the right, but directly ahead of you is simply a hallway leading to. It appears that this may have once led somewhere, but it's been blockaded off and replaced with this. Their shrine. You see candles that have long been a shrine. There's no other word for it, a shrine. You see candles that have long been extinguished. You see baubles and offerings of just various trinkets. And looking over all of it and seemingly looking at all of you, you see this massive portrait of a woman. White hair, deeply pale white skin like snow, draped in a white dress with eyes that glimmer ruby red. And behind you, Theta kind of croaks, "The lady!"
I knew it.
Yeah.
And we're going to end tonight's session.
I knew that's where we were going to end tonight's session.
That was good.
Fucking do it.
I knew that's where we were going to end tonight's session.
I was initially going to end it while you guys were crossing the fields, but then you guys were like, "Oh, maybe we should go to that middle house," and I was like, "Oh."
Okay.
I can work with.
Everyone have fun?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Ja.
God, Matthew, literally, as you were like describing the portrait, because I was like taking notes, so I was like writing portrait, and then as you were describing like it's a woman with white hair and stuff, I literally wrote in like huge letters just the lady and just underlined it like 5 times.
I was literally
Look, the
mouthing to
second you said
Jeremy.
that there is a shrine with a picture on it, I knew it was going to be the lady. Like at that point, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah,
that was
I was
good.
mouthing to Jeremy. That's her. That's her. That's her.
We now know what the lady looks like.
Like Matthew knew. Like at that point, the jig is up.
I mean, yeah, that's why I said there's like no other word for it. It's a fucking shrine. Yes, so not only does Smithers clearly work for the Concord, he seems to be a devout worshiper of the Lady in White, the mysterious benefactor that collected these political figures and outliers to work together for this strange Ickerbeast experiment. A beautiful, gorgeous albino woman dressed all in white. And with that, thanks everyone, all of you, so much for playing. Thanks everyone at home so much for watching. Please check out our website at officiald5hub.info. We should have a link in chat, if not earlier than now, for our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly and support our episodes posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check out Alternator Productions Official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Kobold Rogue's own Twitch channel at twitch.tv/AustinFreak123. With that, we'll see you all next week. Seems to be making good progress on investigating the mysteries of this facility.
Oh my god.